All right, welcome back to the Run.down Postgame show here on the Strickland YouTube channel. If you listen to this the day after Strickland Podcast Network, Knicks lose to the Orlando Magic 117 to 108 on the road, bringing their road trip to 0-2 so far after the loss to the Orlando Magic and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Before we get started into all this good stuff, all the major sports are in action this week with the college football playoffs ready to kick off. BetOnline is your number one destination for all your sports wagering info, including news for pro football, the NBA, upcoming fights, and NHL games this season. Head to the website today to get into the action and see all the updated odds for the week. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Pretty brutal game, pretty brutal road trip so far, I would say. A lot to get into. Do we want to start on the positives? Because I feel like there are a lot of negatives to get into. So do we want to get the positives out of the way first, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's really only one positive in my opinion. That's Randle. Like I thought Quickley was okay, but his defense was a little spotty. And look, I mean, two of those misses he had were basically makes. Like I know people say that, but like they fucking toilet bowled around the hoop, and all of a sudden his offensive game looks a lot better if one or two of those goes in. But I think Julius Randle was the overwhelming positive from this game. I thought that I can count on my hands the number of times I've seen Julius Randle like that spent at the end of a game. I thought he left it all out there. I thought he embraced being center. And was he perfect as the center? Of course not. He's never going to be. But he switched. He got by Mo Wagner the first time. It was a really weird switch.
He didn't really get got. He just decided that he had to go for the steal for some reason. He's like, I have to do this right now. And Mo was like, I'm going to go by you right now then.
Yeah, I didn't mean like he got like
I know what you meant,
I just meant before possession. But yeah, I just thought Randle was so awesome. We always spend so much time like micro analyzing Randle's performance, his effort, yada yada, but like he deserved better from every one of his teammates tonight, and I thought that he was fantastic. Yeah, I don't have much more to say. There's four of us on here, so I'll let other people, especially Tyrese, give their thoughts. But I thought Randle was excellent.
Yeah, I thought Randle was really, really good. I thought, this sounds really stupid because I agree with you. I don't like. It's just funny that again, like at the end of the game, what I think is it Quickley and Hart. I mean, I know Taj was a plus, but like, give me a break. He was terrible in this game, and I don't blame him. It's just like it's what he is at this point. But like Quickley and Hart end up being a positive again, and it's just funny because like I really don't think either of them played some particularly awesome game, but that's just like that, and that's literally the point. That is actually the point that like those guys just do shit and help things work that they can over. Like Brunson was not good today. I thought Brunson had a really bad game. Like OKC, I thought this. Tyrese, stop typing furiously. Like I thought Brunson had I thought this was one of his worst games of the season since he's like kind of gotten his shooting back together. And I don't think it was just that the length. The length bothered him. I also think he allowed the length to bother him because of what his approach was today.
Pause.
What did he say?
Pause.
Okay. And I don't know. I was like very confused by his entire approach. Honestly, the entire game. Like even in the fourth quarter when they go small, I'm just like, okay, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like,
it's like he was proving a point to like he can like finish over all the trees and the paint and stuff like that.
That's fine. I don't even think like fine if he wants to prove that point, go for it. But like, you're going 5 out, you're down like 10 points at various points. Like you need threes, dude. We can't just be chasing twos the entire time. That was really frustrating. And I just thought his decision making was like he had that one pass to Julius in the first half where I was like, dude, what the fuck was that? He threw it to him like kind of on the sideline, and I don't remember who it was, but it was like might have been Franz who just kind of like walked and stole the ball, and they got automatic 2 points. So I thought Brunson was terrible, and it's just funny though that like those two guys end up being pluses. But yeah, Julius was awesome. He's the primary reason they were in this game, and honestly, I will say this. I really, really wish they had taken the ball out of Brunson's hands in that, like, when Randle came back in that second quarter, they had an opportunity to let him and IQ get to work in two-man game, and they didn't do it. And that's how they got back into the lead at the end of the first quarter. And if you watch back the fourth quarter, when Randle comes back in, that's kind of how they found a little bit of an offensive rhythm. And again, like, this isn't about, Quickley did amazing stuff. By the way, Breen and Wally, like, are you guys watching the game? They were so, like, how is Cole Anthony constantly getting switched onto RJ and Randle? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because the fucking point guard is running screens to automatically draw that matchup and then feeds them the fucking ball. Like, are you watching the game? You're sitting courtside? Are you watching the fucking game or on your phone taking fucking selfies or something? Like, what the hell? Like, how are you so amazed by this? I couldn't, and it's like, I just don't understand this stuff. I'm like, again, this is not me. Like, I could praise Quickley for that, but I don't think that's even really praiseworthy. To me, that's just like, that, to me, that's good point guard play on a night where maybe you don't feel like you have it. Yeah, maybe you don't feel like you have it. And one, you're trying to get RJ going, and two, Randall's going, so let me get him on a mismatch. I just thought it was smart play. And I don't think Quickley played a great game. I just thought he was making smart decisions when he had the ball, when he was running the offense. And he was getting the ball to guys in situations that were advantageous for them and allowing them to create. And I thought Brunson tonight was trying to make it the Brunson show, and it just was not the Brunson show tonight. Tonight was not the Brunson show. Tonight should have been the holy shit, Julius is fucking big boying these dudes in the paint, like, get him the ball. That was what the game was today. And he just didn't play that game today. And it was like, I think in a large part, this loss is on him. I thought Tibs, I don't know what the fuck that second quarter approach was. And it was clearly dictated by Tibs. Like, you could watch him signaling, like, they were throwing Hart the ball in the backcourt to bring it up, run these fucking sets. I have no idea what that was about. I think if any other player other than Josh Hart had two of those turnovers he had in the second quarter, they would have gotten fucking pulled immediately. Because they were like, that one where he just looks off IQ, throws some like hero ball fastball at Grimes in the corner that nobody's expecting. That was a ridiculous pass. It was terrible. There was no need for it. He could just pass to Quickley. Quickley can make the same pass, same effect. It was just a bad turnover, and he had a couple of those in the second quarter. And then I thought, the RJ thing is the RJ thing. Like, I thought he was as destructive as a player can be in the first half, and then in the second half he comes out and, like, I don't know, like, the lead was ballooning obviously to start the third quarter. I actually didn't think he was terrible during that stretch. Not to say he was great. And then in the fourth quarter, it's like he finds something, and all of a sudden, I mean, the one thing you could say that is a positive takeaway for him for this game is, yes, the rebounding at the 4 is concerning. And yes, with him and Julius at the 4 and 5, the rebounding is concerning. I thought his defense was, like, a lot better at the 4 than I've seen it at the 3 in a long, long time. And
they were hunting. That was the matchup they wanted. It was whether he was on Franz or Paolo, they wanted the RJ matchup, and he was up to the task for the most part.
I mean, I guess I thought he did a good job on with them. Where I wish he would fucking get into a stance and fight more when guys are trying to back him down. I just feel like he gives up ground so easily for somebody that's as strong as him. And I know Paolo's a strong dude, but, like, RJ's fucking strong as hell. And I just feel like he plays positionally fine there, but he just doesn't fight enough in the post. But that being said, again, like, I thought his defense was legit good down there. He got a horseshit call that go against him on a key play that I don't want to say it swung. I don't want to say it decided the game, but it was a massive swing in the game, right? That was like the 103-97. Brunson gets blocked. They come down. Paolo takes a layup. He clearly got stuffed on that shit clean or short-armed it. I don't know, whichever one. I think Hart got the rebound and they called the foul. It was not a foul. And of course, the great MSG broadcast did not show
the replay.
But they did show us the replay of Brunson getting blocked 15 fucking times so they could jerk off Goga fucking Batadze. Who was playing like he took, like, a massive injection of steroids before this game with the fucking, like, what was he, like, Ron Artest out there today? That was ridiculous. The fact that he, like, honestly, that shouldn't have been a tech. That should have been a second flagrant. He should have been ejected for that shit. That second one on Brunson. That was a joke.
It was totally unnecessary.
Yeah, that you threw a shoulder into his head, and he clearly did it intentionally. If that's not a fucking flagrant, like I don't know what is. And the one on Hartenstein, that's just a flat out. And he's done this shit. He did this shit maybe last year in a game in New York when he was still with the Pacers. I don't remember who was on, but he's a dirty player. Like he does this fucking bullshit, which is why maybe we should trade for him. But like he does do this bullshit. And whatever. Like I thought, yes, it's easy to say, well, they played physical and like you get the benefit of the doubt. The Knicks played fucking plenty physical. Like they were in the paint the entire game. So this is not like I don't want to hear about, oh, well, they just set the tone. Like, yeah, the Knicks, the famously unphysical team. Like, give me a break, dude. The refs in that fourth quarter decided Orlando needed this game, and that was that. Like, I don't know what that was. I didn't really have a problem with the officiating until that point in the game at all. And I'll be honest, like I thought there were a lot of people bitching about the whistle in the OKC game. I had no problem with it. I thought that was a pretty evenly called game. We did the post game. We didn't even talk about the officiating after that. So like I just thought the fourth quarter today. Look, were the Knicks going to win this game?
Probably
anyways?
not.
Probably not. But at least let me
have
do
a
the
chance.
Yeah, let's do the Mahomes thing. You know, just let the players play, man. Let the players play, dude. Come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, just let us play, bro. Let me and Mahomes just like let me and Kelsey just like fucking fuck teams in the face every play whenever we want, bro. Fuck off, Mahomes and the Magic.
Tyrese, your thoughts?
Oh, Jeff, do you think Patrick Mahomes will throw for over 250 yards this week?
I don't even know who they play. Who do they play again?
Bengals.
Sure. Are we looking to bet that or something? Is that what we're
No, I'm enjoying the Mahomes not being an automatic over 250 yards guy every week.
That is weird. Somebody just said not in the chat, but responded to one of the Strickland tweets that apparently Tibs went nuts in the post game. So I'll be interested to see that.
He should have. I mean, this was first of all. Can I just say, I like respect that Tibs has the kind of like somehow has the self-control to never get ejected. But one fucking time, I would love to see him get ejected from a game and just like lose it and kind of like put the fucking focus of it on the refs because God knows the MSG broadcast will not do that. They will never do that. Mike Breen, with him and his fucking PBA card, will never blame the refs or the cops for anything. It was like, honestly, like the fucking one they did call for Brunson after the two he didn't get. Wally's like, oh, I don't know. It looks like the Knicks got a real nice call there. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I know you're from Long Island. And like, you donate, every year when you get the automated phone call, but like, give me a break, dude. Like it's okay. Like, I'm not asking these guys to be mega homers, but there's just some stuff where it's like, dude, you're doing a Knicks game. Like, it's okay to just be like, yeah, like, you don't even need to comment on it. Be like, yep, that's a foul. Great. Like, move on with the fuck. Like, what are we doing here? I just, it's been driving me nuts all season, and I feel like it's been getting worse since.
It's been getting worse since Wally and Hahn took over the Clyde spot. Like, it's made it significantly worse for Breen. Breen's feeling more at home, I guess, with his
because Breen's a cop
with his brothers in caucus.
The Blue Lives Matter agenda.
Blue Lives Matter Breen. That's what we're calling
MSG is not very good right now. Mr. Dolan needs to look into that. Although he's like, this is good stuff.
Mike Breen and Eric Adams are locked in. That's all I gotta say. Dude, the way he commentates now, man, this impartial bullshit. It's like, dude, you're the voice of the Knicks. Be the voice of the Knicks. You're not doing a national game. I promise nobody, like ESPN's not going to dock your pay if you're a bit of a homer.
By the way, did you guys listen to we should probably talk about the game in a second, but did you guys listen to before tip-off? Like, whatever, they're just bullshitting before tip-off, right? Mm-hmm. Breen had this whole thing. It was so weird. He was like, the thing about the NBA is you never know on any given night what you could see. You could see history unfold, and who knows what we'll see tonight in this game. And I was like, dude, what is going on here? Like,
that was so out of nowhere. I thought the same thing
for the game.
Dude, it was the weirdest thing. I was just like, am I watching like Is
Am
this
I
like
tripping on
NBA?
shrooms?
Is this the NBA on NBC from like 1994 or something? Like, are they doing a pregame like fucking promo? Like, is
It was
this
like
Vince,
the
is Vince
opening
McMahon
to an
cutting a
episode of
promo right now?
Survivor.
Is this like an Attitude Era promo right here?
That's crazy.
If you smell the shrooms, I'm on.
Oh man. All right, back to sadly Knicks basketball. Jeff, you want to say something?
I was gonna say I did like Breen making fun of the players for calling for a challenge every play tonight. Like that is one of the most annoying trends in the
It
league.
was pretty bizarre tonight.
The finger thing, like the finger thing is so fucking annoying. And
Okay,
and the players do it all the time.
I'd like that he pointed that out, but you have to understand where his agenda is coming from. His agenda is please stop questioning my beautiful, beautiful refs who are protecting the sanctity of America and our game.
Don't you
You
just
guys-
love like the ref is so tall? Wally, look, the ref is 6'8".
You guys
He can see the right calls. You know he's right.
You guys can get your jokes off, and they're all good. But one day, Breen's gonna be gone, dude, and we're gonna be stuck with some fucking asshole, some way bigger, like
Wally and Allen.
Yeah. So I'm gonna appreciate Breen while
Kenny
he's still
Albert
here.
got us. I don't care.
Kenny
No,
Albert.
dude.
Kenny
You ever
Albert
seen
can
that?
hold.
Look at that guy.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I just gotta listen to him talk.
He is shaped like a cone.
So weird.
Why
It's like
y'all
Marv.
slandering Kenny
It's like
Albert?
they tried cloning Marv and he got stuck in the machine or something. You know, like
Jesus Christ.
I don't.
Back to the Knicks.
So
shooting.
this is I don't know what the full context of what he said was, but Tom Thibodeau walked out of his post-game press conference after voicing his frustration about non-calls on Jalen Brunson's drives. The coach said he's been sending examples to the league. Those are fouls. I'm sick and tired of it. He's been nice. That'd been a nice throwing an F word there. You know, I think that would have hit. I'm fucking sick and tired of it.
Well,
or those are fucking fouls. I don't know. I think if he throws an F bomb in there, it's a little bit more.
They take him a little bit more serious.
I'll send him some tape. I'll send him some tape to review of our post.
There's also to me a problem with this. He's isolating the Jalen Brunson ones, which yes, Brunson got some missed calls on him, but he shot 12. He shot 12 free throws. Like the league's just gonna be like, dude, shut up. He shot 12 free throws. Why not send in some Randle tape? Randle got slaughtered tonight. Randle was getting crushed all night tonight inside the paint.
Why not send the one? I mean, the one that honestly, like, I know this is. I don't actually think this is that ridiculous. It's 113-108. Cole Anthony commits as blatant of a flagrant foul as you can commit. He literally smacks Quickley in the face. That's a flagrant. They had the capacity to go review that. They can go review that even if it's not called in real time, I'm pretty sure. And to not review that, first of all, if that's a flagrant, that's 2 shots and possession right there. That's a 3-point game potentially with the ball with 15 seconds left. And I think the Knicks still had 1 timeout. So maybe even if they didn't, it doesn't matter. You don't need to even go for a 3. You can take a fucking 2 and send them to the line. They were not shooting free throws well. So you like, I thought that was, you know, you can talk about whatever call you want. That call specifically was a joke. Like it was, he literally passes, like as he's passing the ball, you can see him swing his right hand back. And I don't know. I could not believe that. I could not believe that. And yeah, I don't know. That was bananas. That's a huge play. I mean, again, that's the play. You remember last year in Game 6, fucking Gabe Vincent did that to Brunson right on the inbounds, where he fucking like elbowed him on the inbounds. They ended up having to call a flagrant, give possession. So we got 2 free throws and possession. We scored, and I think that either tied the game or made it, whatever it was, but it completely changed the end of that game. You had a chance to potentially that's a get out of jail free card, right? And like, say what you want. I promise you, if that's Julius Randle, they're reviewing that. If Julius Randle does the same exact thing Cole Anthony did, they're 100% immediately either calling him for a foul or reviewing it. That was a terrible missed call. The ref was right there too. You cannot miss that call. That is as obvious as it gets. It is
They showed the back view and the view from the Magic side of the court. And you see the ref standing right there near the inbound. Yeah. Like you got the long view, and Quickley goes down, and he's literally just looking at it. Like it was very, very strange.
Yeah, I don't know. That fourth quarter was just a horribly efficient quarter. To get back to basketball, also, like, look, man, I'm happy Tibbs went small. I think he put Randle at the 5 in with 5:30 left or something in the game, something like that. The DiVincenzo thing, look, he had I think DiVincenzo's been playing very well offensively for sure lately. Him staying in that third quarter as long as he did was insane, actually insane. The fact that he came back out with Taj at any point in the second half was also insane. It should have been Randle at the 5, come back with Hartenstein, close the Randle at the 5 if you want. Grimes should have gotten more minutes in this game.
Too much staggering for him. Come on.
Yeah, Grimes should have played more of the last 2 games, by the way. He got pulled in the first half basically because he missed 2 threes that you absolutely want him taking. If he doesn't take the threes he took, I would want him off the floor. He took good threes. His defense, I'm not saying it was game changing, but there's a reason why they came in. Those Brunson, IQ, Hart, Grimes. They came in. I think Grimes came in with 2:30 left in the first quarter, and they made a 9-0 run to close that quarter with Julius on with them. Because Julius plus good defense was enough, and I just thought Grimes needed to play more tonight. I thought he deserved more minutes. And I think you could have pulled obviously more minutes from RJ in the first half, more minutes from DiVincenzo in the first half. And definitely DiVincenzo in the second, in the third quarter. And honestly, probably RJ even some in the third quarter. Although again, I didn't think he was terrible in the second half. And I thought the fourth quarter was pretty good, but I think the real frustration is with RJ where it's man, at some point, can we just get a 4-quarter performance? How long has it been since we got a 4-quarter performance from RJ Barrett? Just been too long. It's been a long time.
And I mean, with RJ, the bigger thing is just such a high percentage of his impact comes from what he does with the ball in his hands. And it's hard to be good with the ball in your hands night in and night out. The best players aren't. Jason Tatum was just 11 for 31 against the Pistons last night. That's just a normal thing that happens in the NBA now with the influx of three-point shooting. If RJ Barrett was doing other stuff, nobody would give a shit. But for 4+ seasons now, for the most part, the impact data is reflecting that RJ Barrett is not really helping the team when he isn't playing really well with the ball in his hands because he just doesn't do enough other things. And to me, single game plus minus is bullshit. It's noisy as hell most of the time. But to me, him being minus 22 in this game in a 9-point loss that they got down to 6, that other guys who played in his minutes range were, closer to 0, +3, +5. What it's telling us is that when Randle has the ball, when Brunson has the ball, he's not helping. The second he comes off the court in both the first and the third quarter, it's okay. It's we can breathe now. Julius Randle can breathe now. All of a sudden, Julius Randle's running 2-man actions on the strong side with it cleared out, and the Orlando Magic help isn't coming as often. Poor word usage there, but
or was it?
Pause.
I just think that as long as RJ Barrett derives most of his impact by how he puts the ball in the basket, how willing he is to pass on drives, it's almost impossible for him to be a really good player, especially in this system where he's at best the third option on a given night. When you're the third option, you're asked to do all of the little things that Josh Hart, Emmanuel Quickley, to a lesser extent, Dante DiVincenzo and Quentin Grimes do. RJ Barrett doesn't. If you want a third or a fourth option next to Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, if you want someone who can space off the ball and create gravity, who will set some flare screens, the best RJ minutes tonight were when he was okay, let's use him as a screener in the fourth quarter. All of a sudden, him and Quickley had this 2-man action going, and boom, the offense is humming.
Right.
But in the macro, as long as RJ stays this way and he can have, a hot shooting stretch for a week, we saw it earlier in the season, as long as he stays this way, he's the 5th best third or fourth option on the team. He's just not impacting at all. And
I think
it was really jarring in that first half. Really jarring.
To call it what it is, he's Minnesota Wiggins. To like really just put it bluntly, he's this team's Wiggins, like Minnesota Wiggins. Like you can see the potential when he has it going, but his inconsistency is maddening. And at this point, they can just break his role up into like other usage for other guys, and the team gets better as a result.
I mean, I think what the main thing for me is, I don't think any of the usage he provides, like, I don't know if you gave Quickley 27 usage every night that he would be thriving in that role. I also think if Quickley was like, hey, you're the third option now, I kind of don't think he would be at 27 usage. Like, I think he would be at lower usage and it would just be different. And I think I would rather have that. That being said, like, I do think this is what I think. I think Tibs doesn't like playing. I think he likes playing Quickley with Brunson if Hart is a 3. He doesn't trust it with RJ because he doesn't trust RJ right now, which on either end of the floor, which I totally understand. And he doesn't trust Grimes' rebounding enough at the 3, even if he likes his point of attack defense. And I think that is where a lot of his struggle is coming in. So really, like, I personally still feel like I don't think a guy like OG Anunoby raises this team ceiling to any level of like, oh, they're a contender. But I do think that you would probably see him be more flexible and willing to play Brunson and Quickley together if he thought of RJ as that level of defender. And I just think a lot of the stuff with like Quickley's minutes, Grimes' minutes, weird rotate. Like, I think a lot of it just stems from he doesn't trust RJ right now, and he doesn't
Rightfully
trust
so.
him. What's up?
I said rightfully so.
Yeah, he doesn't trust him offensively.
I have to be honest, Schwinn. We had this conversation last time. He led the team in minutes tonight, so if he doesn't trust him, he's got a bad way of showing it.
Well, yeah, but he wouldn't if this was a weird game where he decided I'm going to go play 5 out to close the game. I don't think he's
RJ Barrett is one of 3 players on the Knicks whose minutes are not yanked around by whether he's having a bad game or not. Like all four, and obviously the centers are a different story. The centers just play because for the most part until tonight, Tibs wants him on the court, which is fine. Quickley, DiVincenzo, Grimes. I should say 4 because Hart's going to get his minutes. So Quickley, DiVincenzo, and Grimes are in their own little tier. Their minutes are hugely volatile and dependent on what they're doing with the ball in their hand, if their shots are going in, or if Tibs likes them on the court.
You're comparing RJ to this, like what it is right now. What his minutes? He's averaging what, 28 minutes a game coming into tonight or something, or 29, whatever that was. And he was at what last year?
33.
Like, that's a fucking massive reduction. That's a huge reduction. And I'm not saying like I think I don't care what anybody tells me. This idea of like coaching's really hard because you aren't just like gonna go into a locker room and look at RJ Barrett and be like, well, so when you look at the plus minus of this group, like you're just not matching up. So we're gonna slide Quickley in there. Like, that's just not how it works. You have to manage egos and stuff like that. And I think it's very easy. And I do think that there's a better way of at least, like, when RJ's doing shit that is dumb and stupid, there's a way to make him accountable, and he doesn't do that. I think that's a really fair criticism of Thibodeau. I do think it's a bit much to just be like, well, just have him come off the bench or like just cut his minutes to 20. Like, I would love that. I would love if he had the cachet and clout and all that stuff to just do shit like that when guys are fucking up. When, like, it's easy to bench Grimes. It's easy if he wanted to bench DiVincenzo because he's having a bad stretch or something right now. Not a stretch. I mean, he's had a bad game, but like, it's easy to bench DiVincenzo. It's easy to tell Quick, hey, no, you're not going to close this game. It's easy to do that. It's not easy. Like, we can pretend it's not. It should just be about merit, and it should just be about like, oh, it's a meritocracy, and it's not that easy. Like, I think he's trying to fucking manage shit. I don't think he's nailing it. Like tonight, it's a perfect opportunity, right? DiVincenzo's playing like absolute shit. RJ's playing like absolute shit in the first half. Don't bring that back in. This is the perfect. Even if you want to start them in the second half, you don't need to bring them back in that game. Like that's a perfect opportunity to give other guys a chance. That's where I think he fucks up. But I don't think it's fair to be like. I think there's more going on with RJ getting his 28 minutes a night than him. I don't think Tibs trusts him. I don't buy that.
Who do you think he trusts more, Hart or RJ?
Hart easily.
Hart. Yeah.
What if I told you that Josh Hart has lost more minutes than RJ since the RJ trade compared to last season, or since the Hart trade?
Well, that makes
RJ's minutes from the Josh Hart trade through the end of the season last year compared to this season are -1.5. He's lost 1.5 minutes a game. Josh Hart has lost 2 minutes a game. So I don't accept that he's lost 2 minutes a game, or he's lost 1.5 minutes a game compared to what his role was at the end of last season.
Also,
so that means Tibs doesn't trust him.
That's also because DiVincenzo's not Obi. He can't just be like, Obi, you're getting 10 minutes tonight.
I agree, but I'm just saying your whole case was his minutes are down. That's a huge deal. Josh Hart's minutes are down 2 minutes. So
yeah, but
we both agree that he loves Josh Hart and thinks the world of him. Right. I feel completely the opposite. I think that Tibs wants it to work with RJ so bad because of his obsession with size and his obsession with getting to the rim, that those things just carry so much water for him that he's just going to keep going to the well over and over again. I'm not even saying he's wrong. I'm just specifically talking about in this conversation, in the context of this conversation about like who Tibs trusts and yada, yada, yada. I think RJ is in the Hart Brunson Randle tier, or at least closer to it. And then I think Quickley's kind of by himself, maybe with DiVincenzo, and then I think Grimes is at the bottom.
Well, Grimes is he's like the new Obi, so
it's sad. Like Grimes could get some of these small forward minutes.
He should get some of them, especially I don't know. He might have gotten the memo because I think the last couple of games he's been rebounding with a little bit more more fire.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, as you like to talk about, Schwinn, like all he's got to do is do one of those cool 2-footed jumping rebounds like DiVincenzo does that has Breen orgasm on live TV.
Look at the way he disguises in.
Oh, he disguised for the rebound, and then all of a sudden, maybe that would create a bias for Tibs.
Well, but the DiVincenzo rebounding thing, he had one. It was the final play, I think, of the first half, where he stupidly went in for an offensive rebound. And so then Brunson got left actually it was at some point in the first half though. Because the last play of the first half wasn't actually, I mean, DiVincenzo turned it over, but he got put in a shitty spot. But there was one play where he skied in for a rebound. He had zero chance of getting, and it was like Brunson on a 3-on-1 defending it. I was like, all right, dude, great. This is awesome. But yeah, the DiVincenzo rebounding thing is, and Grimes can jump. He should do it. He should definitely, Breen will probably he'll probably send fucking Tibs the tape. Hey, did you see this one yesterday? You fucking see this, pal?
Oh man. Did we address this comment here by Jordan Bub?
No, I just brought it up because I thought it was worth mentioning.
Oh yeah, but here Jordan Bub says dibs on Jalen Brunson. What this guy's going through is ridiculous. He's getting hammered time after time, and I'm just getting sick and tired of it. I watch it, I send it in. They're fouls.
I really struggle with this. I agree he gets fouled. I also think Brunson is super physical himself. He's getting in there. He's fucking throwing his shoulder into guys, throwing his forearm into guys.
He's a 6'2" thickums. He gets.
Wait, what?
I mean, he's just he's
just like a 6'2" Randle or I don't know, 6'2".
Okay.
Wait, you guys thought Saquon would be something like that? I don't know.
Why would you go there? This is when we're both missing the playoffs, you son of a bitch. Anyway.
Dave Gettleman watches Brunson and Randle play, and he's just like, oh, yeah, that's how you get in the trenches.
All right. Sean McDermott's still your coach. Have fun.
That's right. He is still my coach, and he's going to lead us to glory because of his dedication to his craft. At whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Whatever. Anyway, like I was saying, the guy's 6'2" and well built. He plays very physical given his stature. And he had 12 free throws tonight. he's averaging like around 6 on the season. I don't think it should be that big of an issue. Like the bigger issues are usually like Randle and RJ more than Brunson.
I don't think so. I think the bigger issue is Quickley. I think he gets the shittiest whistle on the team, and I don't think it's close. Like he gets the shittiest whistle on the team, and I like Randle. Yeah, Randle. Again, Randle's another guy where it's like, yeah, look, does he get hammered sometimes and doesn't get called? Yes. But Randle's also in there. Like, look, I see Randle sometimes. I mean, he had a couple today where he's driving in. I'm like, could be an offensive foul, maybe, if you wanted to call it. But like these guys live on the border. So if you're gonna live on the border there, like I just have a tough time killing refs so much for that when I think they're really hard to officiate. Like they're hard to officiate in ways that are different than floppers, right? Like, because I don't actually think, like, people, I've seen a lot of opponents be like, oh, Brunson's always out there flopping. Like, I don't think he's flopping. I think he's like genuinely drawing contact. Like, yes, is his express purpose on some of these moves to draw contact? Yes, but he's not flopping. He's actually drawing contact. But when you're so much your game is about like, you know, fucking making contact and like create, like, you know, he's a master at creating space. Some of that involves him pushing off with using his shoulder, whatever it is, right? Like dislodging players, more or less. You get away with stuff too. And I don't know. Like, I do think tonight he got a bad whistle. I don't know. I just feel like if you're talking about aggregate, I have a really hard time feeling like Brunson gets a shit whistle. I really do. Like, I think he gets a pretty good whistle. You know, I saw him at the end of the Christmas game. He was getting mad at the refs too, and I'm like, dude, yeah, is that whatever? Who was that guy on the Bucks? The great Civil War general Andrew Jackson. Is that his name? Is that Andre
Jackson?
Andrew Jackson. It is. We'll call him Andrew Jackson. But like, he was just like, you know, was Jackson fouling him? Sure, but you're also like fucking pushing off on him too, man. So I don't know, like. They let some stuff go. It's tough for me. Like, I do agree tonight was a bad whistle for the Knicks overall. And to Jeff's point that he made earlier, Randle is probably the guy that is a bigger case for bad whistle tonight than Brunson. But I don't know. I kind of think this is like the wrong battle to fight on the wrong night. Like, I think there are nights where it's worth it. I don't really see it this night. I don't. Not for Brunson anyway. I think if he just wanted to he could have made a better point overall and just been like, look, like, if you're going to call this bullshit for Paolo, who's 6'10", like, built like a fucking ox, and he's getting these touch fouls, and on the other end, Brunson can't get a fucking call when he's getting hacked, like, that's a fair one to make. I don't really like singling this. I don't know. It's the framing of it that maybe I'm having a difficult time with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you entirely. I think it's obvious that Brunson had a few missed calls tonight. He shot 12 free throws, and they were at the wrong times too. Like that 103-97 swing, it felt like the Knicks were going to take this game at that point. Like they had all the momentum, the small lineup was working. They have the ball cutting it to 6, and they get multiple opportunities, and Brunson gets fouled. And then and then on the other end, they immediately give a pretty weak call the other way.
So fair. By the way, challenge it. You have a fucking challenge. Challenge the fucking call. Like, fucking hell. This guy won't challenge until like the stupidest. Then he challenged. Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. But he just challenged the stupidest fucking call after that. The Randle one, which you knew they weren't going to overturn that. Just like, what the fuck? Just challenge the fucking one you got a chance of winning. And that's a huge momentum swing. Like you just mentioned, it's a fucking massive momentum swing. If you win that challenge, you get the ball again, down 6, with still, what is it, like 2:40 left in the game or something. Like, fucking massive swing. That's probably like a 15% win probability swing.
Yeah. No, that's where I was going with that. So that's it. I think on the whole, it's going to be easy for the refs, the league, just to be like, dude, the dude you're complaining about shot 12 free throws. And I think that Randle was living inside the paint against guys he was bullying and was way bigger than. He got hit a couple times. I'm surprised he didn't draw a technical. Only RJ got teed up for that for like the week. Is like, I mean, I know that's technically the rule, but whatever.
Dejounte Murray in the second half today, 2 points, 1 of 10 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 2 turnovers. Man,
Trade for him.
gotta get
2
him.
picks and quickly.
Look, this is gonna make me sound like a really bad Knicks fan, but and maybe Knicks Twitter has just sort of jaded me in a way, but when I see these discussions and I see such a huge segment of Knicks fans like very clearly just not know what they're watching in such frustrating ways and being so condescending and so confident in their hoop watching ability. Like sometimes like a small part of me just wants a trade like that to go through just to watch them like unravel and see, just to see what happens. Like just to see, like finally, let's just put proof of concept to one of these theories. You know, who knows? Maybe they're right. Maybe Dejounte Murray is going to come in and save the day and I'll have to adjust. I'm open to that. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
I feel like when I've been really wrong on stuff, it's usually like just super outlier things that don't make sense or just like are unpredictable. I just don't get the Dejounte thing. So I'm just like, he's a good player.
No, he's not. He's not even a good player.
See, this is where like I can't get to that point where no, he's not. Like he's a good player. Like, but is he a player that like you're not talking about? Like it's like if we were a 35 win team and we needed to get good and we didn't have enough ball handling, sure, fine, go trade for Dejounte Murray. Maybe that'll make you a good team. You're already a good team. You already have a great ball handler. Like Dejounte Murray is not adding something to that, and he's just not a complementary fit. Anyway, this is from Kenny. Is it Mir? Is that how you pronounce it? I'm going to say Mir. I'm going to assume Mir. Kenny Mir. Quickly, early in his career, had a lot of the Trae Young in him with the foul binning. I do wonder if that's on the rest of mine now. They don't give as many calls. I would maybe be cool with this if like they would think of that like with Trae Young. That would be like if they saw Trae Young and were like, oh no, he's Trae Young. We should not reward him for this. I don't know. I just think he gets a bad whistle. I can't really explain it. I just think the more as much as I've watched him this year, it just feels like he gets a really rough whistle on stuff that I'm like, Brunson would get that call. Like, Brunson would get that call 100%. And I feel like there's a lot of times Quickley doesn't get calls that Brunson would. But whatever. I don't think that's a huge deal tonight anyway. I mean, we do. I feel like we should probably talk about just the RJ thing. Like, I don't know. It's not that he didn't. It's so funny. Like, ultimately, on aggregate, he didn't end up playing a bad game. Wasn't a great game, wasn't even necessarily a good game, but it was an okay game. But the aggregate isn't really, I don't know, it's just not the way for me to evaluate him anymore.
I don't care anymore. Like, I need sustained proof of concept of him being a positive NBA player, and it's been 5 years and I haven't had it. Like, I don't care if he goes off for 20 a couple games in a row, and that'll fool people into thinking, oh, he's this really, really effective player. It's like, it's 3 years and he has been one of the worst, if not the worst, high usage NBA player in the 3 years in a row. You can't ignore that. You can't ignore that. You can't ignore the fact that his strengths on this team are an additive to the strengths of the two best players on the team. You can't ignore the fact that there's a guy who plays less minutes than he does who is a perfect fit with Brunson and Randle and plays better than him and is 6 true shooting more efficient than him. At some point you just have to acknowledge it for what it is, and the team gets better when they move him. He legitimately is so destructive to what this team wants to do. And at this point, you have to treat him you're not going to rehab his value. You're not going to somehow convince a team that he's really, really good or something worth taking a flyer on. He's a salary dump. He's their Wiggins. And once they move him, this team gets immediately better. Just get any wing in there who can play decent defense, and the team is going to be better as a result of it, because touches are going to be going to where they should go instead of trying to placate him and watching him like throw up bricks and be inefficient. So that's kind of all I have to say about it.
Jeff, you've been kind of like, I don't know, I guess you've been the longest optimist, but I felt like today was a little bit of a tipping point for you in the first half. I don't know if that accurate or not. Or
About RJ?
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the worst halves of his career. I don't know. I know this is what we do here. I know this is like the whole point of a post game is to go game by game, but I'm just like such a macro thinker. I don't want to like one game be like, oh, it looked good, and then like I don't know. I saw the timeline today. I saw like literally you had the one side in the first half that was like, oh my God, RJ sucks so bad. He's the worst. And then the second half, some people, come out and they're just like, oh, where are you now? Where are you now? It's like, dude, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? The way I feel about RJ is honestly, it's not going to change until the structure of the Knicks changes. As long as he's the third option in the starting lineup, he has to be better at the non-scoring things. And as long as he isn't, as long as whether he goes 8 for 12 or 2 for 12 dictates all of his value and impact, he's just not a super valuable player to this team. It's really hard for him to be because go across the league. Find me another team who has a third option that profiles like RJ Barrett. Just find one single team. I would be very, very surprised if you could find me a single team whose third option, the totality of his impact is determined by if he can put the ball in the hoop on that given night. Well, it doesn't exist because that's not how the league works anymore. Like Jalen Williams is the Thunder's third option. Jalen Williams tonight is 2 for 8 against Denver in Denver. They're up 20. I bet you Jalen Williams has done something other that's helped mitigate that poor shooting night. Like I guarantee it. Okay, not a fair example.
He has 8 assists right now. He has 8 assists right now.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, he's got a block. He's got 5 rebounds. Like yada yada. Go across. I mean, maybe that's not a fair example. Maybe Jalen Williams is too high a bar. I don't know. Fuck, man. Who's the third? Like Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs is the number 3 option in the Magic starting lineup tonight, right? Jalen Suggs can go 0 for 10 in a night, and he can be a positive player. You saw it tonight,
steals,
dude. Maybe he's annoying as shit, and maybe he needs some hair plugs. I don't know, but dude, fucking is a baller, and he's one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. The third options in NBA don't look like RJ Barrett, and they're not a sustainable option for success. That's almost a little bit unfair to RJ. And honestly, I could go on a rant about that. I could go on a rant about how since his rookie year, the Knicks have pretty much done the Knicks have pretty much done whatever they could to make his development path as difficult as possible. That is a totally reasonable argument, in my opinion, and that adds layers of nuance to the discussion. But right now, where the Knicks are right now, regardless of how we got here, the Knicks are in a spot where they have a rotation that goes 9 deep, and they can, and the East, aside from the Celtics and Bucks, they can win a playoff series. And I don't really care anymore about, they didn't develop RJ the right way. They're not building around RJ the right way. The fact of the matter is he's going to be the third option. So there's 2 paths forward with RJ as the third option. He can learn how to impact games separated from his scoring, or the Knicks have to do something because they have multiple guys who are better at it than him. And they're right there. They don't even have to make a trade. You brought up Anunoby earlier. Like, I am 100% sure that, and this should be jarring to Knicks fans because people are low on this guy too. I am 100% sure that if you just flip-flop Quentin Grimes and RJ Barrett for the rest of the season, the Knicks get better. That's how ridiculously out of sorts these guys are synergetically. Which says nothing about Josh Hart. Obviously, the starting lineup gets better if you replace RJ with Josh Hart. Like, that's the easy move. But again, like maybe they're not allowed to do it. Maybe they can't hurt his trade value. Of course, there's all this other stuff that I can't know without being in the building. But it's a problem.
Get in the building,
it's a problem that the Knicks right now have multiple players who, again, and I went on this rant last time, it's not in a vacuum. So I'll get laughed at. People are like, he thinks Quentin Grimes is better than RJ Barrett. I'm not saying if you surrounded Quentin Grimes with 4 G Leaguers, he could like create better offense than RJ, yada, yada, yada. I'm saying in the paradigm of the Knicks right now, with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle playing the way they are, you need certain things from your third option. And RJ Barrett does not come close to giving you those things. So that's my feeling on RJ. It doesn't really have anything to do with my long-term view on him as a player in a vacuum. If he got traded to a situation, I would completely change the conversation and I would give my analysis on him as a player in the new paradigm. All we can talk about is the Knicks right now and how they're built and what RJ Barrett is expected to do. He's not doing any of the things that are being expected of him.
So I actually was thinking about a lot of this. I mean, thinking about this a lot the last couple of days, but I thought about this today when I was looking up RJ Barrett's drive numbers and his passing, and he doesn't pass out of drives. And like, I stand by this. Yeah, he's terrible at it. I stand by that.
Wait, Sean, before you continue, I have something to bring up to Jeff because I didn't share this with him before. But Jeff, if
married?
No, I'm not married. Can you please stop with that joke?
Congrats, Sam! Woo!
Anyways, Jeff, if you put, I went on FanDuel today before the game to look at what RJ's unders would get you if you took his unders in points, rebounds, and threes.
That's a
when I tell you he has been so bad, it's basically worth nothing. It's like plus 255. That's like garbage.
The fact that Sam is internalizing how bad RJ Barrett is through the use of FanDuel is hilarious.
Parlay.
That's my medium. That's my medium to relate how good or bad a basketball
like not
player
stats, not true shooting. No, it's just how much money can I make on his good games.
That's a good way to judge a player in my book.
the great the picture of Sam that everybody uses where he's like staring at the camera or whatever, his eyes are wide. I picture Sam like RJ's not that bad. He's not that bad. And then he tries throwing together an RJ parlay of unders and then his eyes going wide like that. Like, holy shit. Oh, he really is bad.
But what I was going to say is I was looking at all his numbers, passing, and obviously the passing stuff is bad and out of drives. And I get all that. And I stand by everything I said. Like, it's if he's going to play this role, he's not a good enough finisher to take the amount of shots he's taking, even if he drives at the same volume. He's got to be more of a playmaker. I actually thought at the start of this game he tried to do that. He had a kick out to Randle pretty early in the game for a 3. Like, I thought it was obvious that he was somewhat conscious of this, even if he still forced up a lot of junk. But like, to your point, Jeff, it's almost like they want him to be the third option, but he's like got this thing in his head of like, I've got to score. Like, I've got to be a 22 point per game scorer. I've got to do this. And so he knows that the touches he gets when he puts the ball on the floor, like, he has to capitalize on that to score because he's not going to get other opportunities. And the problem is he can't do anything else offensively. He can't pull up and shoot off the dribble. He doesn't have a mid-range game off the bounce. Like, yeah, he can post up small guys, but he doesn't have the craft to post up equal matchups, size. Right? Yeah, like he doesn't have the skill to post up equal size. He doesn't have those things. So what he has is forcing his way, bullying his way inside, and putting up what he can once he gets inside like 10 feet, wherever that is. And I'm not saying that's right. It's not right. I don't think it's right. I think it's fair to criticize him for that. And it is a criticism also of his lack of development in his skills as a shot creator. But that just speaks to your point of like, look, if you want this guy to be a third option, he's just not going to do it. Like, he just doesn't. You either got to be awesome on offense, so that to the point that like we can overcome the fact that maybe your defense isn't so good for the typical third option, or your defense has to be awesome to the point that we can live with the fact that your offense is not anywhere near perfect. And he just is never going to be that. He's never going to be either of those things. So you're kind of left in this weird catch-22 with him. And I think this is where I don't totally agree with you in the sense of like, they've done nothing to surround him. Like, sure, they've done nothing to kind of prioritize him as a top 2 option. But at the end of the day, I'm also like, look, even as a second option, I'm going to need you to fucking hit open catch and shoot threes at a decent enough clip. And like today, this is the second, this was Quickley threw past him in the corner that I thought was an insane pass. Like he threw it between two defenders and like probably his own man, hits RJ in the corner. And as soon as he let it go, you were like, yeah, that's got no shot. Like that's going to hit the front rim and like go fucking to China or something. Like it's got no chance of going in. And it's the same thing that happened in the fourth quarter against OKC. Makes an awesome pass to RJ in the corner. And in that game, it's funny. RJ let it go and he starts like hopping because you can kind of tell he's like trying to like will it into the hoop, and it's just front rim again. And like, look, I know that the counter will obviously be like, well, Randle doesn't hit those shots. Even if you put RJ in a second option role, like I don't think he's he's not gonna create the way like the stuff that Randle did tonight. RJ's never gonna have that type of game like that against that caliber of like interior defense length. The way that Randle was enough. Enough.
All right now.
And Schwinn, before you continue, we should add, because I think, some new people are going to hop on, they're going to hear it, and they're going to be like, God, RJ again. We acknowledge and agree that Jalen was worse tonight. The reason Jalen gets a pass is because dude's playing like an all-star.
MVP level.
He's an all-star this season. So, like, that needs to be said. Like, nobody's like, oh, RJ was the worst player in the world tonight and nobody else was bad and he's the only reason they lost. That's continue, Schwinn. I just feel like that's important to know, is because people take stuff out of context, and it's like right now we're discussing RJ on the macro. Like we're using his poor first half tonight as a jumping off point for like, okay, how does this work with him as a main piece in the rotation? What is the path forward for it working?
Right. And I like, this is where like I saw, people are like, oh, and I don't think you're saying the Knicks have done him dirty. I get what you're saying, which I think is more nuanced than the people that are like, oh, like the Knicks are fucking like they've sabotaged his career, like type of stuff.
Yeah. I think they did him dirty his rookie season. I'll say that.
Yeah, there's no question. Yeah, no question about that.
Since then, it's a little bit more difficult since the hiring of Tibs.
Yeah.
It's much more nuanced.
Yeah, and I think I think the hope you would have if you're an RJ fan is, like, to me, the hope is you get a different coach in here. Because I will say this last thing. I've talked about this before. Malik Monk tonight, I think he had like 8 assists or something. He's averaging a career high in assists this year, right? Like
Kings offense, baby.
The Kings fucking shit assists out of their ass as a team. That's not all just about players. That's about what they do offensively. Like, the year the Warriors didn't have Steph, right? In that, what was that, 2019-20 when they just sucked total ass? And
2019-2020, they lost Durant, then Clay was out for the whole season, then Steph and no, he played like 3.
Was it 3?
Excuse me, let me rephrase. He played 3 to start the season, and that's when he got his first injury. I think you're right. I think he tried to make like a small comeback, but it was for naught.
Yeah. And so even that year, I'm pretty sure Golden State was like high in assists per 100. You probably look it up. I know Draymond still averaged like 7 assists a game or something because I had him in fantasy that year. But like, my point is like, Draymond didn't average 7 assists a year that game because he was fucking throwing like way better passes to worse players. No, it's because everything they do offensively involves Draymond, involves movement, involves players and cutting and screening and all this stuff that naturally generates ball and player movement and assists. And like, so much of the Knicks have ISO players, they're so stagnant, everything is stagnant. I guarantee you, if tomorrow Tom Thibodeau retired and Steve Kerr was like, fuck Golden State, I'm out, I'm going to New York, and I'm coming to the Big Apple finally after all these years, like I was supposed to come back and when Phil Jackson was supposed to hire me. He comes in here, and I'm not saying they're going to turn to the Warriors and they're going to be like walk to a championship, but the offense is going to look different, and all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh my God, like RJ Barrett's averaging 4.5 assists a game, and Emmanuel Quickley is averaging 5 assists a game off the bench. And like, things will just start happening that you're like, wow, all these guys are such good passers. I didn't even realize it was happening. Like, what was weren't the Warriors the lowest assist team in the league the year before Kerr got there or something like that? They're like a horrible assist team. They're one of the worst in the league that year.
They were, I don't know what they were in assists, but I remember in the Simmons, Zach Lowe, Haralabob 2014-2015 season preview, which is like literally one of my favorite pieces of NBA content ever. I'll talk about it whenever I can. I can't believe they only did that once. That was just such an amazing episode. Haralabob mentioned that they were last in the NBA in passes. Like they passed less than any. They basically just ran all these ISOs. Mark Jackson was such a big fan of like dumping it in the mid post to Harrison Barnes when Harrison Barnes had a point guard on him, and it was just like, dude, you have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. So funny enough, they were actually hold on. They were actually 12th in assists, but yeah, they were running like pick and roll ISO stuff. And to be fair, like at that time, they were 20. They averaged 24 assists per 100, which is basically what the Knicks average right now. I'm pretty sure. Like the point is, like, that offense was not unlocked. The Knicks are like, I'm not suggesting Brunson is not an ISO player, Randle's not an ISO player. I think they are ISO players in a lot of ways, but you don't get like, I don't think Quickley's naturally supposed like some guy that's like, I want to run 15 pick and rolls to get a mismatch and then pick. Like, I don't think that's naturally what he is. That's not even what he did in Kentucky. And you see when he plays off of Brunson and Randle, all of a sudden you see all these other things he does that isn't related to any of the stuff he does when he plays without them, and now he's the lead ball handler. And I just like, I think there's some of that involved too with RJ, where it's like some of his ISO, like kind of tunnel vision play when he puts the ball on the deck is also about how the Knicks are set up to play and how they set up to space the floor and play off of their primary shot creators, where it's like those guys have to create advantages and then they have to make the right reads and all this type of stuff. Like, I don't think it's all about him, and I don't think it's like all about Brunson, and I don't think it's all about Randle. I do think systems matter, and even if this team is not going to be some like top 10 assist rate team, I definitely think they're more capable of being like closer to league average than they are. And I think that's part of it too with regard to RJ. But like, end of the day, if they're committed to Randle, they're committed to Brunson, RJ's just never going to profile as the third guy that you want or need on that team, on either end of the floor. If it was on one end, you could probably figure something out, but it's on neither end, and that's just a problem. And like, that's just one they're going to have to accept and kind of bite the bullet on and move on with. This from Chris Bernard. Under Tibs, Grimes, Mitch, IQ, Randle, and even Deuce have improved. RJ not improving is just a wild thought. I thought I said it a couple days ago. Should have got off the pot and make a decision. Cause, sorry, 1 second. It's worse to be indecisive. Don't wait too long for you end up with nothing. Guys get worse. The time to capitalize is now. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is pretty definitely the case with RJ, and I think I know people are still like, I know Quickley's the one that's on everybody's minds, but like, I really wonder about Grimes, because I just can't imagine if I'm Quentin Grimes, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing right now? Like, I was a starter last year, and now I'm playing like 12 minutes a night, and like I was untouchable. Like, and by the way, that was not real. He was very touchable in the Donovan Mitchell trade talks. He was very touchable. But like, I was like this prize thing in the Donovan Mitchell trade talks, and now I'm just like, I'm behind DiVincenzo. Like, I just think like, those two guys to me bear more watching for obvious. RJ for all the reasons we've been talking about, and Grimes for reasons that are pretty obvious if you just go sort Knicks by minutes per game, like, and compare year to year. Like, pretty fucking obvious why he might be not too thrilled about his role or how he profiles forward. And like, but that also kind of speaks to Tibs, where it's like, I think other coaches would be more flexible night to night. And I think other coaches would be like, oh, like Grimes hit 2 threes last game, right? And it's like, I thought he just played well in that game in general. And there's no benefit. He doesn't get more minutes. It's just like, okay, you did well in your designated 12 minutes tonight. Awesome. That brought us
the thing Schwinn, the thing you brought up earlier, you brought up the part about the end of the first half when Tibbs pulled Quickley and Hart. I think he pulled Quickley first, and then Hart came out a little bit later for RJ. That's a moment right there. Right there. Like RJ's having literally one of the worst halves ever. You don't have to be on autopilot there. 29 out of 30 coaches either leave Hart or Quickley in, or like, okay, Grimes, you're playing fine. Get out. And Grimes is like, Grimes hadn't made anything. But Grimes is, I went on that rant earlier about guys who can do something. Grimes is kind of the opposite of RJ. Grimes can be 0 for 2. Grimes can be 0 for 6 and be helping you in certain ways. And that's a moment right there where it's like, okay, maybe we'll try a three guard lineup with Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Grimes. Let's see. Let's just see. Like RJ doesn't have it. Hart and Quickley just finished 13 and 14-minute shifts. Okay, I want to get him out of there. I guess I got to go back to RJ. No, you fucking don't, dude. You don't. Grimes has only played 7 minutes. It's okay. Like Grimes, he's not going to hurt you on defense. You know that if, and by the way, this is the most ridiculous part about it. If the extra inch or two that RJ has on Quentin Grimes and height matters so much, how come every single time Grimes was in the starting lineup with RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes guarded the number one option, whether it was a wing or wasn't? It wasn't. If that size matters so much, go back and from the day Quentin Grimes took over in the starting lineup last season when they were 10 and 13, every single number one option, Quentin Grimes started on him. If that size difference is so important that you can't close those last few minutes of the half with Quentin Grimes at small forward because you need a 6'6" guy at small forward as opposed to a 6'4" dude, tell me why Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Quentin Grimes came out of the gate on those guys. He wouldn't have an answer because it's bullshit. It's absolute fucking bullshit.
Also, why are there so many comments about my shirt in the comments?
Because Hawkeye said that's how we know you're wiped up because you're wearing a shirt from prison in 1930s. And that's legitimately one of the best comments I've ever seen in my life.
A really bad gambling etiquette marriage. It's usually a good mix for a happy and long life marriage.
Dog.
They are fried your ass. God damn.
Dan definitely got married. He's wearing a shirt that says I'm locked up.
Like Sam just wearing his Nautica shirt chilling. I gotta go to Bloomingdale's with my wife.
A cashmere sweater.
Oh my gosh. Just for that, I'm not telling anybody when I actually do get married, whenever that is.
Cap. Well,
this is from Kofi Amankwa Jr. I've said this before. RJ is consistently inconsistent. Jeff is right. The way he is now, based on how he's playing and the way the roster is constructed, he can't be a third option. Yeah, I agree with this. My where I just feel differently is like I think I have enough of a grasp on his game that even if I give him the benefit of the doubt on like his role and all the stuff I talked about with like, he gets limited, he gets some certain touches that he knows, all right, I got to create and then only chat like, so he'd have more latitude to do stuff as a second option. So his assists would go up. And even with that, I'm sorry. Like when you can't create off the bounce, either jumpers or separation when you drive, or you can't finish explosively at the rim, it's really, really hard. It is really, really hard to be successful that way in any high usage role, especially in his case because he's not a good shooter. And like, I promise you, if you go back and watch the start of the year, yeah, the shooting was great, but I bet you could see teams adjusting to how they were covering him towards the end of that run. Like I think I saw a number today where it was like Scotty Barnes, the first 10 games or something of the year, like 62 or 63% of his threes were unguarded. Might even been higher than that. And now it's down to like 49% or something that are guarded. And it's like, that sounds where you're like, well, you still half your threes are unguarded. That's a huge difference. That means like teams are now like, okay, no, we have to like actually kind of close out on this guy and honor him a little bit out there. We can't just totally ignore him. And with RJ, I would bet it's the exact opposite. It was probably like, it probably started like, we'll just leave him unguarded. And then it came down here. And then now it's all the way back up to where it was. Like, because you watch the Magic today, and this speaks to Tyrese's point of like, he doesn't complement the guys that you're kind of centering your offense around. They did not defend him. They weren't paying attention to him at all off the ball. And I mean, that sucks. Like, I obviously it sucks for us, it sucks for RJ, it sucks for the team. But like, that's just what it is. And Tibbs can love what he loves. At a certain point, the front office is going to either have to move RJ or they're going to have to have a conversation with them and be like, look, like, I don't really know what the hell you want to happen here, but like, this isn't working, dude. And meanwhile, we've got guys sitting on the bench who make way more sense with what we have around our Randle and Brunson. So one of those things has to change. Whichever one is up to the organization, Tibbs, front office, whatever. But it needs to happen because, like, I just think you're playing like a really look. I still don't. I'm amazed by like the fact that Quickley, like, I don't think he played an amazing game, but like he was very engaged in the game today. That was obvious. And I'm amazed that he's consistently like as engaged as he is. Actually, I think recently he's been like even more engaged. It's very interesting to watch. But with a guy like Grimes, like he's kind of like doesn't show much emotion when he plays anyway. I can just see it being really hard. Like it is really hard for him. Even DiVincenzo's talked about this, right? He was like, I'm used to playing more minutes and whatever. Like it's hard for these guys. So especially when they can see, they have eyes too. I'm sure they see RJ Barrett struggling, like it's hard to just accept that. And it creates issues and it can create issues in the locker room for sure.
Yeah, and this says nothing of like the long term. Like if you're right, Schwinn, and there's a front office mandate, a feeling that you're going to lose RJ if you change his role or if you start holding him to a higher standard. All of a sudden, you look at Quickley, you look at Grimes down the road, you lose those guys and you're going to say, yeah, well, we had to lose them because we couldn't risk affecting RJ Barrett's trade value, or we couldn't risk losing RJ Barrett mentally. That's catastrophic. Like that's almost unheard of in the sport, like the Knicks with the 25th pick back-to-back seasons drafted two, good, solid NBA players who can be on the court in the biggest moments as role players next to stars. Those are hard to find. And they're risking, either at best right now, they're only affecting their trajectories. That's it. At worst, they're affecting their trajectories in the short term and risk losing them in the long term. And at a certain point, RJ Barrett just has to justify that.
I think like too much is made of like the asset, and it's like teams know what he is. Like teams have an idea of what he is at this point. It's been 5 years of tape, so it's kind of hard to be like, oh, you can't. We might drop his value lower, and it's like, how much lower can it get? How much lower can his value get? Like, he's already 53 true shooting for his career. Like, he's not suddenly becoming. He's not going to be like more efficient coming off the bench or whatever. It just has to happen at some point. Like, there needs to be a decision made, and it's like the fact that Quickley's contract is looking to be like very lucrative and it's looming kind of just means like you're just going to make a choice and choose a direction.
Honestly, they need to just call Troy Weaver and be like, give us Bogdanovich for RJ and move on. Before Troy Weaver gets fired, you have to fleece him and use him to like do the business you need to get done or something. Because if I'm like kind of joking, but like honestly,
there's truth to every joke.
If you want to keep Quickley and you're going to pay him whatever it is, right? Like you kind of have to make a move with RJ sooner or later. That can be anybody. It could be maybe Bogdanovich is obviously not who I'd want.
Gordon Hayward.
Okay, definitely not Gordon.
What?
Relax.
We're clearing the cap.
Yeah, Staten Island, stand up. But
is that Wally Zerbiak's music?
Was that Mike Breen's music?
We love antics.
But I just think like we've been kind of like we've been dancing. I think the organization has been dancing around this for a while. The team has been dancing around this for a while, and people have been deluding themselves about like, Quickley's just a 6-man. Quickly can't be this, can't be that. He can't start. He doesn't play like RJ does things that like add value that like we are super important and it's like maybe they are important. I don't fucking know. All I know is that like it doesn't make sense next to the two guys that the organization has seemingly tagged as like tentpole players, and Quickley's does. It's really that simple to me. On top of the fact that Quickley's improved individually, and I think pretty clearly, consistently provides a positive impact at a high level, and RJ is at best middling consistently, and like that is just what it is. And I know they're not exactly the same. And you know, Jeff is a huge fan of like positional archetypes and making sure that all players fit into very rigid roles. So he would maybe disagree with this now. But like I understand RJ and Quickley aren't exactly playing the same position. But in an NBA that's this flexible and this positionless, all your 1 to 3 guys and a lot of times your 1 to 4 guys are playing for minutes. And even within Tibbs's rigidity, you're fooling yourself if you don't think RJ's minutes affect IQ's minutes or don't affect Grimes's minutes or affect DiVincenzo's minutes. It does. It absolutely does. And really what you have to ask yourself is it worth it? Would you rather have RJ or would you rather have Quickley, and would you rather have more minutes for Grimes and maybe some more minutes for DiVincenzo? That's really what it is. Because as long as RJ is here, I don't think Tibbs is the coach that has the balls, or maybe he doesn't have the fucking green light,
Cachet.
or yeah, maybe not the cachet, or maybe not the green light from the front office to do whatever the fuck you want, play whoever, like, and that includes RJ. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. You know, maybe that's wrong. But like, that's what it is. So I don't like that being a binary. I wish it wasn't, because I do think that actually does. That's part of why the Knicks leverage can be kind of hurt by benching RJ, in my opinion. But that's what it is. And I don't, to me, I'm not of the opinion the organization is surprised. Like, I think they're aware of that. I think they know that. I think that's why they've been connected to, again, for the billionth time, Paul George, OG Anunoby, Zach LaVine. I think they know what's happening. Like, it's a lot easier, right? If we're sitting here and, I mean, Jeff, I'll ask you this, like, because I know what Tyrese thinks. I don't know, Jeff and Sam. Like, if you just took, I'm not, forget what the actual trade would be, but let's just say 1-for-1 trade RJ for OG. Do you think the Knicks are better, even if all the rotations stay the same as they are right now?
Like this season?
Yes.
Oh, of course. Yeah, for sure.
Sam?
Yeah.
So I think, like,
Yes.
if the team is, if the
We know
team,
what your answer was going to be, Tyrese.
nobody cares about you, Tyrese. You live in Texas. Go vote for Ted Cruz or something.
What the? Okay. Damn. Sorry.
But like, if that's the case, right? It's a lot easier to stomach Quickley's minutes, not just for us, but for him too, and his camp, and his fucking aunt who's retweeting Zach, and like it's easier to stomach that when you're winning, and the guy that's getting a little bit more burn than you is actually actively contributing to that in a consistently positive fashion. It is a lot easier to stomach that. It's harder when you're watching games like tonight in the first half where you're like, I know that the fucking Mets scene down in Florida is crazy. Like, what was RJ Barrett doing tonight before the game? Like, you like having thoughts like this. Like, what's going on here? Like, did he, have a little fun at the strip clubs last night? Like, I don't know. But it's harder to stomach that right now when you're watching RJ really struggle to like find himself. Whereas if you bring in a guy like OG, who I don't personally think, again, I really don't think it makes you a contender, but I do think it gives you like a much more solid night to night, like
baseline.
50, yeah, this is what we do every night. This is what we are every night.
You know what you're going to get from him every night.
I think, like, to Jeff's point when we talked about Jalen Williams, OG can go 1 of 8, but he'll probably be playing plus defense. Like, he'll probably get you a couple steals. There's just things he's going to do that, there's just stuff he's going to do that matters even when he doesn't have a good scoring game. And unfortunately, RJ doesn't really do that. He did have a really nice steal in the first quarter today. And then we, of course, fucked up the transition opportunity after that. But, like, it's what it is. Like, I don't know. I'm not even really mad about it anymore. It just is. And I think this is a good question from Kenny Mayer, which ties into that. It's rare for a team to make 2 deadline trades, but if you swap Caruso for Grimes and OG for RJ, how much better than the Knicks? Tyrese, what do you think?
Significantly. I mean, like, you added 2 of the best 7 defenders in the league on one team.
Sure.
Like, you'd be nuts. Like, not to mention plus shooters. Like, Caruso is an elite point of attack defender who could guard 1 to 4. OG is a very good man defender who can realistically guard 1 to 5. Like, you would probably be the deepest.
I mean, the Knicks defense steps up significantly just off rip.
Like, think about, like, IQ, OG, and, like, Hartenstein.
I mean, I know he's hurt, but you could reasonably run Quickley, Caruso, Hart, OG, Mitch, which would be they'd allow like 70 points per 100 possessions.
Like,
how mad do you think Tibs would be though the one time that Jalen Williams got to switch on Quickley and it's like a contested 16-footer?
Quick, what the fuck are you doing?
RJ,
Julius, get off the bench.
Need more size out there.
We need more size at the point.
Yeah, but like legitimately, you add like some of the best defenders in the league, and like, yeah, the Knicks are going to be a really good team. And they're plus offensive pieces as well. Like, yeah, that'd be a really good deal. Like, they would be probably in the Boston tier. I think they would be in the Boston tier.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, like, you think about it, like, again.
You got to be able to score at a high clip. I don't care how good your defense is. In the NBA in 2023, 2024, if you can't compete, you cannot compete at the highest levels without being able to win games both ways. You've got to be able to win games both ways, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, like, if
I know the example will be Miami. I'm sorry, we have not made a deal with like the devil to be like, I will sacrifice my next 15 generations if you allow me to keep spawning fucking G League difference makers. Like I'm fucking, churning out Uruk-hai and Isengard or whatever the fuck it is. This shit is fucking crazy. They had this thing called Jamel Kane put up 18 points yesterday or whatever the fuck it is.
This thing. Dude,
okay, but like, I get what you're saying, but to that point, I'm like, you added 2, like, well, Caruso's like 67.
Who do we have to talk to make sacrifices for the Knicks, by the way?
Dolan has enough kids, right? He's got like 5 kids. Come on.
I mean, I gotta be honest. I'm closer to Tyrese than to you, Schwinn. In this example, I don't
like
think
you have hyper efficient, really good defensive wings. Like,
yeah, they'd be really fucking good.
My problem with this though is that like you say this. This is like the assumption that we don't have enough shot creation is all under the assumption of like Julius Randle doesn't poop his pants.
Yeah,
and we don't know that.
Quickly wouldn't matter. Quickly's offense wouldn't matter.
Yeah, but it's also that's kind of where I'm at.
Well, it would be if Julius
accepted.
I'm Schwinn. If Julius plays like this, and we know Jalen can play like this in the playoffs, and you at all times have 2 of Caruso, OG, Quickley, Hart on the court with them,
with Mitch or Hartenstein, yeah,
right. They're just gonna super usage Brunson and Randle. All that matters is the shooting off the ball. Like I know I'm being overly simplistic. It's more difficult it's more nuanced than that. But
not for Tibs, it isn't, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. I don't think they'd be better than Boston. I think Boston is special. I'd be surprised.
But
But
the thing with Boston is Boston doesn't get to the rim of their jump shooting team, and you would be throwing Caruso and OG onto their jump shooters.
Another thing with
Yeah.
Boston is that they can go fuck themselves.
That's true. But like, again, this is a hypothetical.
Man, I wish
that
they
makes me-
lost the other day. Oh my
God,
god.
I was so upset. Poor.
Pistons.
It's also
wait a second,
hey, we can
Sam,
start.
Did
we
you
can
not?
start-
Did you not use that opportunity to make money? That was the
I was-
freest. Dude,
I was
Boston was plus 175 at halftime. How did I cleaned up on that game? That was
I
was
was in
easy,
Florida. I was in the airport. I was.
He was
Yeah.
tweeting somebody to put money on it. I was like, dude.
He couldn't gamble when he was around his girl. His wife.
Sam's
a lie.
like itching himself in the airport. He's like, get me.
They don't. Is sports gambling legal now in Florida? Because I know it wasn't for.
No,
They
it's
have
not.
one. They have one sports book that you can use down there called Hard Rock Bet, and
Get a
it's
life.
and it's the app is so ass. Everything is like super limited and shit.
Joe
The fact that you
Biden's
tried
America.
it out and know the app is ass is like, again, worrying.
Hey, gotta find a way to make money.
You know what? At least
So,
it's not horses.
This is. Sorry, go ahead. Finish, Tyrese.
Sorry, no, I'm just saying. At least you're not betting on horses.
What?
Don't say never. Never say never. Damn, I bet this one to show. What are you talking about, Tyrese? Nothing. This one's from Omar Yusuf. What's the likelihood the Knicks can actually trade with Toronto with a lawsuit hanging over both teams?
Very unlikely.
It seems unlikely, but it's weird because I feel like, and I don't know what to make of this, but it feels like every rumor I've seen, even currently, doesn't even bring that up as like an obstacle to a trade. It always just seems to be more about like, well, the Raptors would want fucking they would want, Emmanuel Quickley, Quentin Grimes, 3 first-round picks, and
The blood of the lamb.
yeah, the purchasing rights to a loan with an obligation to buy for the New York Rangers in 3 years. Like, it's just like I don't know, but I think that's personally a huge obstacle. And even if you settle the lawsuit or it gets settled, like that's probably still an obstacle as long as Masai and Bobby Webster are in charge. But like, how long are Masai and Bobby Webster in charge? And the other part of this is like, I'll say this: if the Knicks do really want, like, I don't personally think he's the guy that I think is like, oh, you got to go get him. But if the Knicks really do want him, and Leon Rose was the CAA master, right? He was like the fucking Varys of CAA. Like, okay, go make it happen then, because he's CAA now. Like, go
Sam
make
Rose
it-
is his agent.
yeah, like go make it happen. I really think it's that simple. Like, if the Knicks really want him, I've pushed back on this whole like, oh, like it's stupid to be like, oh, they hired Leon Rose just to bring in guys for his connections because it's about building a team. But like, this is an instance where if you fucking want this guy, right? If you want this guy and he's CAA and your fucking son is his agent, his handler at CAA, and let's be clear, say whatever you want about how the Knicks did Obi dirty for the first year. They also sent him to Indiana, which is where he wanted to go. And they took back, like, they clearly were not playing hardball, right? They took, like, fine, just give us these 2 second-round picks and let's all move on with our lives. Like, they sent him to where he wanted to go. They did him a solid, right? So you did him a solid, who is also a Sam Rose client. Sam Rose now has OG Anunoby. If you want OG Anunoby, and I don't know if OG Anunoby is truly like, fucking, oh
God's
man,
greatest gift.
if we can't get Joel Embiid or whatever, like we at least have to be able to get this guy if he's that kind of level of target. If he is that level of target though, okay, then you like this is where your connections should have some, like, they should be brought to the fore. I mean, maybe not brought to the fore. That would get us. Don't bring it to the fore. Definitely keep it under the table. But like, they should matter here. They should matter here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, at some point, you can't just keep waiting for the perfect circumstances. Like, you have to go make something shake. And Yeah.
Would you guys agree that, like, and Schwinn, you kind of talked about this a few episodes ago, but would you guys agree that things are definitely coming to like the finish? I don't want to say finish line, but like a tipping point. Like this season is the tipping point, right? Like
Yeah.
if you had to put a percentage to it, that both RJ and Randle, and I guess I'll even include Quickley, that all three of those guys are on the roster in the starting lineup at the start of next season. It's like 0%, right?
I think RJ's been the one guy I wasn't too surprised he came back this year. Once they signed DiVincenzo and like, once you get out of the first 2 weeks of July, you're kind of like, okay, like nothing. If anything major happens, it's usually like one of these loser superstars who's like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore. You guys haven't helped me compete. Like, eat a dick, bro. But like, I'm not like once that happened, I was not surprised RJ came back. I will be shocked. Like I will genuinely be shocked if RJ Barrett is still on this team to start 2024-25. I will be shocked. He is like, I know Jeremy has talked about this. I think it's very obvious. If you look at the discrete skills they've targeted in players since they've come on board, if you look at advanced metrics, if you look at the things they have valued in the draft in terms of pull-up shooting, spot-up shooting, shooting percentages from three, like all of these things that they value, RJ is the one, he's like the black sheep, right? He doesn't really fit in to that stuff where it's like,
because he's Canadian.
Right. He is Canadian, which makes him unique on this team. But like, it's just, I don't like it. Just he's the guy that doesn't quite, doesn't quite
fit.
And like, I thought Mitch initially maybe was one, but Mitch obviously is like, he's an elite rim protector. He's a really awesome offensive. He has amazing elites. Yeah, he has amazing elite skills, right? RJ Barrett has one elite skill, which is getting to the rim. But he is not elite at optimizing it. He's not elite at finishing. He's not elite. Like, we don't need to go through the whole fucking thing again.
It's very low.
Everybody else is very good or elite impact. They've all got something. And RJ doesn't. And I just think, like, the difference between him and Randle is that Randle consistently finds ways to evolve and add things to his game and find ways to be effective. Like, his three ball isn't doing so hot this year, but he's still finding ways, right? He's like reinvented himself for the fucking 75th time in the last 4 years or something. Like, he just finds ways. And RJ's the same guy he was 4 years ago. He's a guy who can drive to the rim, doesn't finish that well, not super explosive, is an okay to decent team defender, who is not a super big needle mover, who doesn't maximize his output as a playmaker, even though he's probably the best natural passing talent on the team. Like, all these things. He's not developed a three-point shot. The one thing he's developed is he's a good free throw shooter now, even though he's had a little bit of a slump, if you want to call it that right now. But like,
Or back to his mean.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just such a small sample. Who knows? But like, it just
how about the Knicks letting Quickley take the technical, having their best free throw shooter? This is growth right here. Good job, Knicks. Best free throw shooter, shoot the technical, baby.
I think what happened though is that Brunson and Randle were complaining about something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were just like, no, quick, fine, go. You got it.
Yeah,
have fun.
And then Randle realized, oh shit, I can't stat pad. What the fuck are we doing?
I think regarding your point, Schwinn, about Randle versus RJ, like on this team, that ship has pretty much sailed. Like, in terms of, I guess there was a time in 2022 when there was a fork in the road, in my opinion, and pretty much ever since then, it's just been like, there's never going to be a world where RJ makes it work on this team with Randle here. And in my opinion, there's no world where Randle's not here. Like, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying Randle's here. And I felt that way for a long time. Schwinn knows this. We've talked about it for a long time. I think the Knicks really like him. I think there are a lot of reasons to really like him. And as long as Randle's here, I don't see how RJ we could get to the end of this season, like we did last season, and very reasonably argue that Julius Randle is the most important player on the team. I think he was the best player on the team last season. I think he deserved to make second team All NBA. And like the net swing stats, the impact stats back it up. Yeah, go Schwinn. Sorry.
No, the thing with it's always weird because it's like Randle's the guy for like 43 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes of the game, you're like, that's cool, like, but like let's go ahead and give the ball to Brunson here now.
It is interesting that because we talk about we talk a lot about how, Randle and Brunson don't really have much of a two-man game. And I feel like there's an underlying insinuation there that it's Randle's fault. And Randle does
it's more Brunson.
It's crazy. Like if you see the Quickley Randle two-man game and because they used to get no time together, by the way. Earlier in the season, Brunson and Randle came out of the game in the first quarter at the same time. And it was Brunson coming back in with the bench units before Randle. So there was pretty much no time when Quickley was on the court and Brunson wasn't with Randle. And so you didn't really get to see much of the chemistry between Randle and Quickley and kind of forgot about it. They looked great together tonight, like working that two-man action. Quickley had that night.
They're always good. Like we talked about this 2 years ago where it was like, Randle had a fucking horrible, I looked at this the other day because I was bored, but it was like, you look at his 21-22 disaster season, all his lineups. The only player on the team that he had a positive net rating with was Quickley. And it's just like now, like the last couple of years, now that Randle's kind of gotten back to where he was the year before, like when those two play off, I mean, you go back and watch that Hawks game, right, where they were down, whatever it was, 7 in the fourth quarter, we come back and win. But they came back and won basically like they got themselves back into it just running Quickley Randle two-man game. Those two have like, he's the one guy that I think him and Fournier and him and Bullock had like their own weird chemistry, but it was more like Randle just being like, okay, I need an assist now, come here. And like that, like I shoot the ball. And I think Quickley does some of that, but I think Quickley also knows how to use him as a screener to like
he can dribble, which Reggie Bullock couldn't.
Right. Well, he draws a switch and then now he can feed Randle a mismatch in the post. Mm-hmm. And I think Randle, like, he appreciates that and they understand that. And Randle, he's the one guy. He is literally the one fucking guy in the team Randle will roll for. He rolled for him today. He fucking rolled for him today. I was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Like, I had fucking tears. Like, me and Tyrese FaceTime, we had tears streaming down our eyes. I was like, wow, this man rolled to the rim. I cannot believe what I just saw.
No, literally, I was like, he freaking hates every other ball handler in his team for some Quickley, because Quickley plays basketball the Jesus way.
He also, for a guard, is a really good screener himself, and Randle has begun leveraging that. Like Quickley tries screening for everybody, and Brunson's pretty good at leveraging it too. But like when that bucket that Randle got in the first half, it was entirely because of the Quickley double screen. He tried to force the switch. Randle didn't attack so that they were able to switch back, and Quickley was just like, okay, I'll go back and screen the big again, and Randle stepped into a wide open baseline jumper.
I'm literally looking at the roll right now. It's beautiful. Like, legitimately great two-man action just into the most serendipity roll of all time. This is what God intended. This is how Naismith envisioned basketball.
Look, Tyrese loves citing white men when he's talking about basketball. Sam Merrill, guys, you don't get it. Justinian Jessup. You wouldn't understand. You had to be there. This is from Omar Yusuf. Knicks can reasonably trade for OG now and have enough for Mitchell in the offseason. 2024 and 2027 first, plus whatever needed, and still have 2025, 2029, 2031 still available for trade this summer. I will let Tyrese go because I know this is kind of his thing.
I mean, they should not trade for Mitchell, but like, yeah, I mean, they have enough to make two trades.
Is it Mr. Met your guy?
No. I mean, at one point, yeah, but like, no. Also, we don't talk about the Mets. The Mets stink. I don't want to talk about that team until like 2025. But like, I'm so serious. I don't want to talk about baseball. I'm not even watching baseball next year.
Yes, you are. I'm gonna. You know, I actually had to mute Mets on my Twitter a couple years ago because like every day at some random time. It'd be like 3 p.m. There would just be like 35 tweets in a row, just like LFGM. What the fuck is this? I don't want to see this shit.
Sorry. Those are the M pleasing tweets. Sorry. No, but like, okay, what was I saying? Yeah, they can make 2 trades. They have enough to make 2 trades. Like that Bucks pick is valuable. The Mavs pick will convey. I don't really care about like the Wizards or Pistons pick, but like that's true. That's true. But like they have enough to make 2 trades. They have enough to like make 2 trades, and that's before they like clean out all of their assets, and they still have second round picks, and they have guys who can like get them picks if need be. So their asset bank is not dry. You gotta mute Mr. Even because that's when they win the World Series. Fuck off. We won 101 games 2 seasons ago. Leave us alone.
What did you guys show for it?
Whatever, dog. Whatever, dog. Another choke to the Astros. Whatever.
When have the Mets won a championship in your lifetime?
What is your problem?
Fine. See, this is where you could just be like, have the Bills? And I'd be like, fuck you.
I mean, but like that's implied.
Look, man, I'd trade that whole fucking dynasty of Yankees titles I grew up watching for fucking one Bill Super Bowl because I don't watch baseball anymore. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I was just like, yeah, the Yankees got 4 when I was young. This is good. I'm.
How do you think I felt the Giants won 2 and I was like, oh, this is how it's going to be the rest of my life? No,
Yeah,
I'm still struggling.
You're so annoying about the Giants. You act like the world's ending every day.
They stink, and Tommy DeVito ruined our season.
Did he? You guys are probably still gonna end up with top 5 pick.
Great, we're gonna get not Drake May.
Well, Jeff thinks that's a great thing for you. I agree.
You want Jaden Daniels?
Yeah.
You know, you think we're gonna take a black quarterback? Have you seen like John Mara taking a black quarterback? Are you kidding me?
He's just gonna be like, who's that field hand over there?
Me and John don't see skin color, Tyrese. You know. So
Yeah,
all right.
I had. Actually, did you see that quote from a Michigan assistant today? Where they asked him something, and he was like, "You know, it's funny. I grew up. I'm married to a white woman," and he's like, "So I don't really see color." I was like, "Really? That's where you went with this? Like, you don't? I don't see color. Okay, all right, pal. Let's go on. All right, we can do this. Actually, Tyrese, I want to hear yours. Well, I want to hear Randle trade proposals, you cowards. That's from Walt Clyde Fraser.
Randle trade proposals? I mean, at the very least, I'm gonna need 1 unprotected pick, 1 protected pick, and a young prospect. Like, okay.
I think I would do like Jalen Johnson. Give me matching salary. Give me an unprotected pick, and
yeah, I don't even need a protected pick.
They have that Kings pick, right? Give me the Kings pick.
Yeah, I would do something like that. I gotta look at teams real quick.
I know Jeff would be like in heaven if we traded for Jalen Johnson.
I
saw him. He got a bottle of lotion out there. He was just.
You don't need to tell me, man. That dude's good, man. That guy is fucking good. His defense is so good. Holy shit.
Imagine if they had a scheme that made any sense.
Dude, that's so weird. Not to, that's like literally one of the luckiest things that's ever happened to me is we did the first episode of Hot Hand Theory. We were talking about the fucking Hawks, and I was just like, the fuck am I going to talk about the Hawks? And randomly, like, I do some research, and I was like, I kind of like Jalen last year. And I just, like, went on this rant about how, like, I felt like the Hawks were in purgatory, and I was like, they're not going to win anything this year. And if they want this year to mean something, they have to throw Jalen Johnson in the starting lineup. And they did that after 2 games. Like, I know, like, probably not a lot of people watched the episode, but shit, man, I probably looked pretty smart in that. That was pretty cool.
I mean, I thought they actually did the right thing this summer by dumping Collins, moving on. And I'm like, honestly, I got to say, like, Quinn Snyder is clearly not doing a good job. We shit on their players all you want, but, like, the fact that Trey Young is having a greater impact defensively right now than Dejounte Murray, and it's cool to shut on Dejounte Murray, but, like, that is so fucking bananas. And it's like that has to speak to some level of just like you are not utilizing your defensive talent properly at all. And I haven't watched them closely enough to say, other than the 2 times that we waxed them by 2 points apiece. But like, I got to think that he is running their defense like Capella is Rudy Gobert or Okongwu is Rudy Gobert, and then he's like, wait, what? Just block the shot. Just fucking stop that. Like, what? Why aren't you doing the thing that I need you to do? And they're like, dude, what's wrong with you? Like, that team is definitely like, it's cool to make fun of them. I 100% think they're underperforming their talent level right now.
Yeah.
They're underperforming their point differential, which usually does speak to either luck or some level of coaching malpractice.
Yeah. Trae Young's in the 45th percentile in defensive EPM. That has to be the highest he'll ever be. Like, he must actually be trying.
I just think he's doing like, I mean, I haven't watched them enough, but I feel like he's doing as much as he can do as far as like showing, stunting, recovering. Like, look, he's so tiny and he doesn't even have a good wingspan like Quick, right? And he's never going to be as active as Quick on that end because he can't. Like, he's doing too much offensively to be that active defensively. And why the hell would you want Trae Young to be like expending all this energy on defense? But yeah, like he's definitely trying harder, even offensively. I think like he's never going to be a great off-ball player, but I think he's doing a better job than I've seen him do before in the past.
Yeah, I mean, like, also the Hawks just stinks or whatever. But yeah, like, I would need like an unprotected pick of some kind, and then like a prospect and matching salary. Like for Charlotte, give me a pick, give me PJ Washington, and give me like another matching salary, and I would do that.
PJ Washington is so bad this year, like so bad. I've seen fucking like the 3 Hornets fans that ever come across my timeline are just like constantly talking about how bad PJ Washington has been this year. And on a team that is obviously terrible, like, I don't know, maybe that's just he's catching bullets or catching whatever because like he's the guy that got paid and you know they can't talk about Miles Bridges because what is there to say about Miles Bridges? But like maybe
There's
that's
a lot.
why. Yeah, there is a lot. But like it's just maybe that's part of it, but I don't know. He's been terrible when I've seen him. And he played that game in the Garden. What was he? He had like was it the game in the Garden or the one in Charlotte where he looked like he had like 2 points? He was and walking around. It was, I don't know. They're a mess. So maybe he goes for a better environment, but I would need way more than PJ Washington and a first from Charlotte if I was going to do that. Like Julius, let's be real, man. We can sit here and like be critical of his playoff performance. There are at least 13 teams in the NBA every year that would love to have Julius Randle in the regular season. Love to have Julius Randle in the regular season. And acting like that doesn't matter is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Fucking DeRozan got traded to the fucking Bulls, and they were throwing a fucking parade because, oh, the Bulls went for it, and, like, they had a great half a season. Like, let's stop. Like, I'm calling bullshit on the idea that Julius Randle will not command any interest if you put him on the market. I'm ready to call bullshit on that. I think it's total nonsense. I think it's absolute bullshit. And I think a team like Indiana would definitely like to have Julius Randle. I will throw that out there. I think they would 100% love to have Julius Randle.
Or Obi.
That'd be funny. But if you put Randle, send Obi back in the trade. But if you
kill myself.
If you put Randle next to Miles Turner with the spacing they have, that team is ludicrous.
BFF too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Lego man.
Hey, don't sleep on Legos. Legos are fun.
All right, man.
I've become one of those people now. I'm sorry.
I mean, I just see a lot of I feel like I see a lot of, I don't know, you guys. I feel like I see a lot of fucking fans of teams bitch about their power forward spot very specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I find it very hard to believe that if the Knicks were like, all right, we're open up Julius Randle offers, they wouldn't get legit offers for him. I think they 100% would get legit offers for him. Last summer, I wasn't sure. I think they would have had to pay to get off his contract 2 summers before. Right now, if they put him on the market, I think they would definitely get value for him, right? Like no question.
For sure.
Which is why they won't.
Yeah, it's the never-ending cycle of.
This is the never-ending cycle. Yeah.
I think I remember we had Derek Reefer on the pod a couple years ago, and he was just like, I never know where the Knicks are with Julius Randle. Like it's like it feels like every time they want to trade him, then you can't trade him. But then when they should maybe want to trade him, is also when they're like, no, but he's so good. He's so good. He's so good. It is hard. I get it. Like it is hard to manage that. And like I'm not lying, man. I think these last 6 quarters of basketball he's played have been so impressive to me, given the level of competition and just everything. And like I don't know, I've been really, really impressed with how he's played the last 6 quarters.
Is he sucking you back in?
Pause.
I specifically use that verbiage on purpose.
Yeah, we know. That's all you've been doing on this rundown so far. Not too much hosting going on over there, Sam.
I am getting back into form. I just came back from vacation.
Yeah, we got his honeymoon. Yeah, get to
All right, enough of the honeymoon jokes.
I don't know. I just trading Randle's hard, and I don't know. It's hard. I get it. Like
It's not gonna happen.
Pascal is like this too, which is why like I think it's crazy Toronto waited to this point to even seriously consider trading him, because it's like, well, what the fuck were you doing? They traded him last year, they would have gotten a real good value for him.
They would have gotten the 3rd overall pick.
Well, they also probably would have tried to overplay their hand and never agreed to a deal as well.
What is the data like on Pascal right now, Jeff? Because I know you and XJ talked about it a couple of weeks ago, maybe on the pod, and it was like
he stinks.
Well, it's so weird though. His 3-point shooting stinks, but he's still like amazing inside the arc somehow, and he does his flailing to get to the line constantly. One of the most absurd foul drawers in the league, by the way.
Giants of Africa.
Him and KP has the other worst one that I hate his.
I got my ass beat with a Latin.
He does the one where he goes. He makes this weird sound where he's like, like he throws hands. He's like,
It works though. You got to give him credit.
So
for
annoying,
that.
yeah, because he's fucking white. It wouldn't work.
If
Randle did that shit, they would.
Pascal is as dark as Randle, and it works for him. So.
Yeah, but he's for it.
He's for it. Wow.
I know Tyrese wanted to use a different adjective.
So we're saying they're reverse xenophobic?
Yes.
No, they're not. No, they're not xenophobic because they reward.
We hate dark.
Yeah,
the league hate dark-skinned Americans who
they love Pascal Siakam.
Dark-skinned Americans,
except for Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
You mean a gambler and a pathological liar?
Wow.
LeBron's lies are really good. LeBron's lies are probably the best. Yeah. I saw him warming up. I said 70. Yeah, all right, bro.
Suggs.
The funniest one was the Suggs one.
Like, there's no reason for these lies, too. That's the best part. Like, they do nothing. They're like not. They're
Dude,
so funny.
This is a human being who nobody has said, no, LeBron, you're wrong for like 30 years. Not a single. Can you imagine going 30 years doing whatever you want, whenever you want, and not a single person being like, actually, like, no, that's no. He could. There's like this South Park episode where Cartman, and it's the fish sticks episode, if you've seen it, Schwinn, where they write the fish sticks joke and Jimmy and Cartman write the fish sticks joke. And then Cartman, by the end, is such a sociopath that he convinces himself that he wrote it alone and nobody else was responsible for it. That's LeBron. Like, LeBron could convince himself of anything right now. And I think that's totally normal, actually. Like, it's not even, I mean, it is his fault, but like, dude, when you do whatever you want for 30 years, it's pretty easy to just be like, oh yeah, actually, I knew Jalen, so I was just gonna hit that half court. I saw he was dribbling, dude, and like he just looked like he just
had it. Honestly, the best LeBron lies, the best one, like not even close. I think it's easily the best one because it's so fucking ridiculous. Was during the bubble when he showed up to
the Malcolm X book. Oh
yeah,
my
the Malcolm
God.
X. What was your favorite part? And he's like, oh, just fucking
He
solve
started
it.
rambling about different. He just gave you the meanest word salad ever
Just all of it when he's talking about
about
like
discrimination and what we're
society.
going through right now.
I'm like, bro, you gotta be kidding. At least get like the fucking cliff notes before, so you can kind of just bullshit something that makes sense. This is actually, this is a good clarification. My point, this from Omar Yusuf. My point was more about how you can make a significant move this season and still have enough for a star trade this summer, not necessarily these exact players. I think OG just, if you're gonna do like the two guys thing, I do feel like OG's probably has to be one of the guys because he feels like somebody that even if Masai is gonna trade him, it'll be like what, like 2 unprotecteds, like maybe, or probably that'll be the max, and that should still leave you with the ammo to get another guy in a year, and that's kind of where I think they might go, which is why, honestly, like trading for OG around RJ in some capacity, then extending Quickley, and then you use Quick and Grimes and picks to get the other guy seems like a viable path. For the record, I want to just say this for the record, I would fucking hate it because I would just feel like we're doing mercenary, very like calculated, cold-blooded team building stuff. But in that vein of like building a championship team, that's not the most absurd order of operations. And to be fair, you'd still have in that scenario, you theoretically maybe still have guys like Hart, DiVincenzo, Mitch, Hartenstein that you could also include in a trade. So like you would have options to throw in there, which is not, I mean, that's still a pretty good place to be.
Schwinn, how come we haven't heard anything from you about Ohio State embarrassing itself tonight?
I have been scrolling Twitter on the side after I searched Ryan Day, and it's been fantastic. It's been great. They scored 3 points, but maybe Missouri stole their signals, and that's what it was all about. Because really, that's who once somebody steals your signals, which only Michigan has ever done, what are you going to do, right? They certainly couldn't win a game once in 3 years with having top 10 talent all across your team. Imagine having a team that had C.J. Stroud, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Emeka Egbuka, still losing. It's tough. It's hard,
Couldn't be you.
Yeah, it actually could not be me. It's wonderful. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, before we move on to this question from Jordan Bub, do you guys think is there somebody other than OG that fits the type of bill that you're talking about? I think like Caruso fits the same thing, but he's not the same size, so it is different. Because when you're comparing those players, I actually do think size is relevant because you're getting them so much for their defensive value. And as much as I know that Caruso's defended fours, I do think it's different than like what OG kind of is able to do. They've used him as small ball 5. Nurse used him as a fucking small ball 5 in the bubble. Like you can't do that with Caruso, actually. I don't think anyway.
There is another like 3-4 hybrid that is a really good defender, really good team basketball player, DeMar DeRozan. I've seen some packages about based around him. They could. Right. That would be a good acquisition. I don't have anyone else who would be remotely available. Like I think OG is definitely head and shoulders from both an impact standpoint and just like from what they're looking for that role. I think he's just way better than anybody else they could get. And I
don't love his politics, but like, what about? I'm curious. Like, what about Jonathan Isaac?
I just see him more as a pure 4. Okay. I don't see. 5, if Tibs learned something tonight and was like, hey, like, because like he was willing to play maybe, and I'm not saying this is right. Maybe part of the reason he's been so unwilling to play Randle at the 5 is because they don't even their 4s then Josh Hart. Like they're really small with Randle at the 5.
Mhm.
But maybe if you get Jonathan Isaac and all of a sudden some of your backup units are Randle at the 5 and Isaac at the 4, and like Tibs is okay with that because Isaac's such a good defender and such a good rim protector, there's merit to it then. But I think that would have to be a very extreme condition. If you were trading for Jonathan Isaac just to be like your backup 3 next to Josh Hart or whatever, your backup 4 with Josh Hart then sliding to 3, and that's all he's going to be, like that's not close to what OG Anunoby would do, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat as like just any type of 3-and-D guy that can profile at like that 3-4 or 4-5 sort of hybrid. Because we know the type of role that Tibs has in place for anyone that's not really Jalen Brunson, Emmanuel Quickley, or Julius Randle. So you kind of just want to fill those roles with players that play those roles really, really well.
Yep. I can't really think of anybody else unless you want to like start gambling on like size, like DeAndre Hunter, and that's kind of like the only person who would kind of fit the bill of like 6'8", multiple 3-and-D wing, and that's already a head case in and of itself. So,
I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll get both Murray and Hunter.
You just talked about. You just said DeAndre Hunter. Get the fuck out of here, Tyrese. You're so washed, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like they tried it with Cam Reddish.
Has there been anything? Has there been anything funnier than the back and forth between the RJ hive and the Hawks fan hive about which pick was better from that draft? like literally, once a month, the one person from the hive will be like, "Oh, DeAndre Hunter," and then the other side will pop in, and all they do is shit on the other side.
Now imagine they get traded for each other. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Omar just, and this is worth pointing up. I said that you'd have to wait a year. You wouldn't have to wait a year. 2031 opens up this summer, so you could actually do both. You can trade effectively 2024, 2027 now, and then you'd have 2025, 2029, 2031 to include in the summer if you wanted to make another big move. This is from Jordan Bubb. What is the panel? What is each panel member's Knicks related New Year's resolution that you hope / wish the team would apply for the rest of the season? Wow.
Start quickly. Send RJ back to Canada.
It's not a resolution. That's like giving them like
that's deportation.
Yeah. I want them to. I would like Tom Thibodeau to rewatch this game 3 times. Yeah, well, that would be nice. But I would like him to rewatch this game tape 3 times, and I would like him to ask himself what was different about what he did in the fourth quarter versus what was different about what he did in any of the previous 3 quarters, and why did that seem to result in the Knicks seemingly actually having a chance to win the fucking game. That's what I would like. That would be my New Year's resolution, is for Tom Thibodeau to actually watch the game tape 3 times and ask himself questions that are not questions that he already has answers to, that he wants the answers to, but questions that he maybe doesn't have the answers to and now has information on. So maybe consistently asking yourself new questions. That would be my New Year's resolution for the Knicks and for Tom Thibodeau very specifically.
So I have an I have an article coming out for Strickland with a New Year's resolution for every single rotation player and coach. So I'm gonna sit on that. And whatever, I'll push it right now. If anybody wants to do some reading, I'm bringing out the old typewriter, and I think it's gonna be pretty good. So I'll move on to Tyrese and Sam.
Tyrese already gave his was to close.
I guess just Sam, since Tyrese's is deport a human being.
So Tyrese's resolution is vote for Trump. Vote for Trump.
All right.
Tyrese's resolution is stricter immigration policies.
I'm just Greg Abbott.
Register as a Republican.
He's secretly down there in Texas trying to get that wall finished. Like
I've been going to work for it. I'm not gonna lie.
We're gonna build the biggest wall. It'll be the best wall by the best people.
By the best people. My resolution is, of course, Emmanuel Quickley related. Find a way to get him more minutes in any capacity, literally.
Yeah, I mean, my resolution for him before these last couple of games would have been like, bro, the cornrows are not working. Like,
yes, thank God he went back to the twist.
Yeah,
thank you.
Like enough. Like it was just he tried it. God bless your heart. Like that ain't you, bro.
The problem is like it's now his pitcher for the rest of the season, and it pisses me off.
Is it?
Yes.
Why is pitcher for the rest of the season?
Because his headshot. They retook the headshots.
Oh yeah, the Knicks retook headshots in like a couple weeks ago or something like that to include the sphere on the thing.
You just call it the sphere?
Sphere, whatever it's called. All right. You know what? I think with Omar's comment there, we're gonna end things off.
It's a good resolution, to be fair.
Oh, Omar must be single or not married because
I'm not.
Sam's married now, and the sex goes down after marriage. So
I'm not.
That's what somebody married would do. Like, you went to Florida. You think they respect their wives?
Oh my God.
Sam takes his ring off when he does the post game show.
Oh right.
Where's your ring? You know these kids, babe. You know, like they
don't respect the institution.
Are you gonna like hyphenate your last name?
All right. You know what?
Let's end with JL's question because we haven't talked about the game at all.
Are we excited for the Obi Bowl?
Okay, so I put a bet down that if Obi scores 15 points or more, I'm gonna get an Obi jersey, an Indy City jersey. So I need us to play defense like we're the 04 Pistons.
Good luck with that, bro.
We bleed 115 a night, and that's on a good night.
We spawn giving up 115 right now. So.
Anything, and with the Pacers, that's like 125 minimum.
Yeah, Mikey has it clipped, so I can't even say no.
Did you bet with Mikey?
Yeah.
Man, that game is gonna be.
I'm actually pretty excited for this game because the styles are so contrasting.
Yep.
If the Knicks and last year with the Knicks, actually what I find very interesting is in the games last year, if you go back and watch them, Halliburton didn't play the last two. He got injured halfway through the second one. The Knicks made a pretty awesome comeback in the first game in Indianapolis. But in the second game, they were down like 20 when Halliburton went out. The Knicks were just smoking them. And Halliburton looked, I mean, that was as bad as I've ever seen him play. He was terrible in that game. But the Knicks have had this ability when Tyrese Halliburton's played, at least when he played last year, to drag him back into drag him into the mud. Just turn it into a fucking ugly game, control the pace, all that stuff. Halliburton's a better player this year than he was last year. He's definitely developed. Definitely more capable of imposing his will in a game in that sense. To me, this all comes down to pace. If the Knicks can control the pace of this game, I think they will win this. And I think the Knicks are going to win this game. I feel like they are going to be super locked in after losing this game to Orlando. I think there's some good, like, I don't think it's bad blood, but I do think there's some real, like,
some good blood.
Yeah, like it's like friendly, but like genuine competition. Like, Brunson isn't stupid. He's not blind. He's not deaf. He sees what people have said. I'm sure he saw what people were saying during FIBA, right? About him and Halliburton. I'm sure he saw what people were saying at the start of this year. I am also sure that Randle,
Jalen
Mr.
Brunson for
Randle,
40.
I think Julius Randle is going to
Bitch that man.
if Julius Randle plays smart and doesn't just play to dominate his advantage, he will score 40 tomorrow. Like, he will dominate that game. I know Miles Turner is a hell of a shot blocker. I don't give a fuck. I think Julius Randle is going to go nuts. Is that all his overs?
No, I put Julius Randle 40, Jalen Brunson 35.
What's the payout?
It's plus 5,000 right now.
Oh, damn. Sam's about to be going tomorrow.
We're doing Run.down on a boat.
I also think it's possible that Randle could dominate this game in a way that involves him getting like 9 assists.
Randle 10 assists. There we go.
I would take a Randle triple double.
My fear for this game, because you're right. The Pacers are going to go at Jalen Brunson coming off a bad game with Andrew Nembhard. That's not going to work out well for them. And then they're also going to try to guard Julius Randle with Aaron Nesmith, who is good defensively. He's also pretty scrawny for a power forward.
I also don't like him. He's just a fucking prick. He just like is a real tryhard now. That's his thing since he got traded from the Celtics. He's like a tryhard, and he just does things like an asshole that are like kind of borderline dirty.
He's super annoying. He's super
really annoying. Sorry, go ahead.
So I think that's going to go well for the Knicks. I don't see them struggling on offense. Tyrese Haliburton is legitimately one of the worst defenders in the NBA. Like, legitimately, his defense it's way worse than Jalen Brunson's defense.
Is he first percentile or second percentile now?
First percentile. It's like fourth right now. No, I'm not exaggerating. It's fourth.
No, it's third. It's the other night, by the way.
It's third. My fear is the stuff you were talking about, Schwinn, with how we've had a little bit of success against Haliburton. That's with Grimes, and right now the Knicks in the starting lineup, who, as we saw tonight, they're going to play, the first 8 minutes of a quarter. They don't really have anybody at the point of attack to, at least not to Grimes' capability, give Haliburton issues. And to pair that, or to mitigate that, we know what Tibs does. He has the weak side low men waiting to stunt. The thing is that Haliburton is one of the best passers to the corner that there is. So I feel like we're going to be kind of leaving ourselves at the mercy of 3-point variance. And maybe that's a good thing, but I do see Haliburton creating a lot of open threes for teammates, and whether they go in or not is going to dictate how this game goes on that side of the court for the Knicks.
There are certain guys, they're a good shooting team, but there are certain guys that you should be daring. If you're going to help off, there are guys you need to help off of. Mathurin being one.
Dude, I don't care what Miles Turner's stats say. I feel like every single time he shoots, I feel like this ball is more likely to hit the ceiling than it is to go in. He shoots so high. And I just never am like, oh shit, Miles Turner's open. That sucks.
But against us.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have the gravity. Like it's so funny because I think, is he shooting 40% again from 3 this year? I don't know what he's shooting. And it's like, but it's funny because last year he shot 40%, and I think Porzingis obviously shot really well from 3 last year. But like, it's just funny. I'm like, every time I've watched, like I'm just like, I don't care what these guys' percentages are. There's such an obvious difference in the gravity of them as shooters. And like, I am so happy. Like, if I would dare Miles Turner to shoot 15 threes tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, take 15 threes. Take 15, and if you make 6, we'll live with it. You got to make 6 at least.
Him and Buddy the Beaver, man.
Buddy is the one I'm worried about. Buddy, I'm always worried about because he's just like so random.
He'll have one game where he goes like over 5, as I will know. Very well.
Why would you know that?
I think you all know why. There's games where he goes over 5, and there's games where he goes 5 for 12.
Pacers fans do not like Buddy. Like, they like him as a person, but they're very frustrated with him on the basketball court. I think it's to what you were talking about, Sam, to the inconsistency.
Yeah.
I also think he's doing the thing where like he thinks every time he touches the ball
it's his time to shoot.
Yeah, it's his time, and it's just not how it works.
It's buddy time.
But there are certain guys to help off of on their team, and there's certain guys not to help off of. I think you help off Turner. I agree with you. I don't care what his percentages are. I just dare him to shoot a bunch. You help off Mathurin. You help off McConnell when he's in the game. I kind of think you can help off Nembhard. I don't think
McConnell's going to play because he didn't play the last couple games since Nembhard's been back.
Oh, okay. So I think you can help off Nembhard.
Thank God.
I think, yeah, he is the most annoying. I actually think we'll win now just because he's not playing. He's the reason they fucking came back into that game after Halliburton got injured last year. But yeah, I think Nembhard is a guy you can help off of because he doesn't necessarily want to shoot a bunch of threes. But yeah, they're a difficult team. They're going to get points. It's what it is. The Knicks are going to have to score tomorrow. But like, let's be real. Like, this is, if you ever are going to need, like, if there's ever a game for RJ to actually just play well, this is a game for him. Like, and I understand Miles Turner is a really awesome game. I know Miles Turner is a really good rim protector, but like, come the fuck on, bro. Like, none of these guys on Indiana should be strong enough to stop him from getting to the rim.
I feel like RJ's had really good games against Indiana in the past too.
He has had some of his better games against Indiana. So like, and hopefully this fourth quarter tonight can actually serve as some kind of like
momentum. Yeah,
he'll have like a good 2-week stretch here or something. That'd be nice. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just have a feeling about this. I have a feeling. Knicks money line tomorrow. I'm taking it. I'm in.
I was in on that tonight, so I guess I have to double down tomorrow.
Yeah, you have
Thibodeau,
to.
but like Thibodeau, Jalen, Julius, I don't know. Are they really gonna like coming off this game? I feel like everyone
it just feels
the day
right
before New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
it just feels like a thing, right? It just feels like something about it. You're like, I don't know, like I don't know what it is. It just feels like it. So the Knicks they're plus 136 on the money line right now on FanDuel.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
So does that mean they're like 2 to 3 point underdogs?
3.5 point underdogs.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Dude,
I mean, we're on a back-to-back. It's Indiana.
Can I just throw this out there? There are certain back-to-backs that I think like really matter. And I know their main guys played a lot tonight, and Julius was exhausted tonight. I don't know what it is. I just think this is not a back-to-back where I expect them to be like dead and not have any juice. Like, I think they're going to have juice for this game. I really do. And also a low-key thing that kind of helps a little bit. Iheart did not play a lot tonight. He's going to play a lot. He will play a lot tomorrow.
And we kind of need him for Miles' size.
I think he's going to be really good tomorrow. I think Iheart will have a very good game. I think he'll be very motivated to have a good game too.
Brunson, Halliburton, Buddy, 5 threes. Let me see how much that gives you. Thanks for giving me the idea, by the way.
Wait, Brunson, Halliburton, and who?
And Buddy, 5 threes each.
Add Turner 3 threes.
Add Julius 2.
Right there.
Yeah. And then
Miles 3.
There's one more. There's one.
Wow, that's a crazy payout.
Add Quickley to steal your heart.
No. Add DiVincenzo. He just had a bad game. He won't have 2 bad games. Add DiVincenzo 3.
He's not listed right now, but
fuck that.
They'll list him like 10 minutes before the game, so that way no one can put him on their slip. But just with Tyrese, Buddy, and Jalen for 5 and Miles with 3, that's plus 76,000.
Well, the Buddy 5 is a big fucking number, bro.
Yeah, it's a big like.
What's Buddy 3?
What's Buddy 3?
Yeah.
Let me change that to Buddy 3 because Buddy 3 by itself is minus 190, but it's still a plus 34,000 payout. with
do that. Do that.
shit.
Yeah. I'm looking at his
5 on it to win 1.7K. Sheesh.
So Buddy in his last
Place
dude,
bet
dude. I don't know, Schwinn. Buddy's last 4 games from 3. 5 of 10, 3 of 11, 5 of 11,
the volume is
5
there.
of 13. He's averaging like 12 threes a game the last 4 games.
I think the Knicks are doing I think the Knicks will run him off the line. I feel like he'll be a guy that's on the scouting report for them.
But still,
Okay.
that is still a pretty good payout for those numbers.
I mean,
right
you could also just put 5 on both.
True.
Just win 5K. You know, like just win 5K. Yeah. Go Scoop City. Oh man.
You guys are tempting me with a good
updated net swing numbers for the Knicks.
Oh god.
Should we get into that now?
Yeah, let's just drop them real quick. Let's
Quickley leads the team at plus 12.1 per 100 possessions. Hart second, plus 10.2 per 100 possessions. Hartenstein third, all the way down at plus 5.1 per 100 possessions. The top two are distancing themselves a lot.
It's probably just a big coincidence, though.
Randle fourth, plus 2.7 per 100. Mitch fifth, plus 1.6 per 100 possessions. That is it for the positives. Brunson, minus 1.1 per 100 possessions. RJ, minus 5.2 per 100. Grimes, minus 5.6 per 100. DiVincenzo, minus 8.4 per 100.
What was RJ?
Minus 5.2 per 100.
Yeah, he's gonna. Him and Grimes are gonna. They're gonna cross paths. They're gonna cross swords pretty soon.
Looking at the different sides of the ball is pretty interesting. Like Brunson's a negative overall, but the offense just kind of dies without him on the court. He's very clearly the offensive engine.
So I want to throw this out there. I have a really big issue with how they're running the offense right now when both him and Randle are off the floor. Because they keep doing this weird thing with Hart as like Hart brings the ball up and then like they have like Quick come off this fucking curl to get it up.
That's their new play. We've talked about this, Schwinn. Yeah. Every single year, Tibs comes to camp like Mozart with one new play that he just like runs into the ground until it doesn't work anymore. His new play is to have Quickley on the weak corner and then have one of the low guys screen off ball for him and then Quickley gets a 3 that way. He's gotten a couple threes this year. Yeah, and it hasn't worked in a few games.
Do you think that he's done this more since Hartenstein's gone out? Because I do think he has. And I do think it's directly related to that. Because you see, like, they are not respecting Taj. Like, the stupid thing is he thinks Taj has to be the screener if you want to pick and roll. Yeah. So, like, he doesn't, and he can see, and he's right, that when Quick runs the pick and roll with Taj, they're just trapping Quickley, basically. Like, they're just sending 2 to the ball. And they're almost like daring him to throw a pocket pass Taj, which maybe you could make the pocket pass, maybe you should. But I also am cool with him being like, Taj, you're like 7,000 years old, bro. Give it up. Like, I'm not giving you the ball.
Let's just hope, Schwinn, that, again, you asked for this earlier in the pod. Let's hope Tibs watches this tape seriously and learns something, because to me, some of the most encouraging minutes of the game for the bench unit came at the start of the fourth quarter when they started using RJ primarily as a screener. You want Quickley and RJ to be the main 2 guys in that unit, using them together, letting them leverage each other's strengths and elevate the other. That is impact. That's the thing we're talking about with RJ doing stuff without the ball in his hands. Like, you know, RJ, it was so wild how like a few possessions in a row it worked. We get Randle back in the way, and Randle back in the game. And of course you're going to go to Randle some, but there was no balance. There was no like, okay, we're going to go to Randle and then we're going to go to RJ. It was just like, okay, it's Randle's time, which again is fine. I wish our offensive scheme wasn't so polarizing and wasn't so extreme. Like, it's just like we're just jamming these few things that Tibs thinks are the best into the ground. And it's like there can be more diversity of scheme. But anyways, using RJ as a screener for Quickley, they immediately had a good chemistry. Quickley hit RJ with a pocket pass. RJ got back-to-back buckets. He got a layup, and then he got that and one, both off of those actions. If they start running 1-3 pick and roll with, I mean, even though Hart and Taj aren't exactly spacers, they're smart off the ball. They're both intelligent. They're not just going to be useless off the ball. I do think that clearing out a side and letting Quickley and RJ run side pick and roll would be totally new and would be welcomed for that unit and would help them. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah, just it needs, but enough with the Hart shit. Like, what makes Josh Hart fucking special is not that he's some creator with the ball, aside from like transition pushes. That is not what makes him effective. That is not what makes him a special player. Like, it's not what makes him a difference maker. Enough with that shit. It's not even necessarily what I think makes Quickley a special player. But what makes Quickley special is he can do that shit and then toggle to this off-ball thing and do that too and like balance the like use the fucking guys that are actually good at the fucking things that they're fucking good at. Like, this isn't that fucking hard. Jesus.
That was a lot of fucking.
Oh,
it was a lot of fucking. It is really fun. It is really funny that like every part of the game you talk about, it's like, oh yeah, Quickley does that well. Like, you know, Josh Hart does the thing that Quickley does, you know, and then it's like, maybe he's just really good. Maybe they should think about that, because I know Tibs knows that, like, oh, I need somebody to put on Anthony Black in this small lineup because there's going to be breakdowns. And if there are breakdowns, who do I want on the weakest player to help start that scramble? Oh, Emmanuel Quickley. Oh, the bench unit needs a ball creator, and we need to run some side pick and rolls. Who's going to be the guy running pick and roll? Oh, Emmanuel Quickley. Oh, we need a spacer next to Jalen Brunson. Like, all these things he's used for sometimes. And it's like, okay, you have this guy who can check all these different boxes. You are Mr. Box Checker head coach. Just lean into that. Don't think so much about the fact that he's 6'3" instead of 6'5". Just lean into the fact that he's good at all these things. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Man, let me tell you, if you want to have a good time after this podcast, go check out the comments over on the wonderful, wonderful website called 11warriors.com, which is an Ohio State fan board. And let me tell you, this is a beautiful, beautiful site. I've prayed for days like these.
Is it 11 the numbers or 11 spelled out?
11 spelled out. 11 spelled out.
All right.
It's really wonderful.
Is there a specific thread we should look for, or
I think you can just go to the post game. The post game thread, just experience it. Okay. You can go to all different genres.
Ooh, 271 comments. This is fun.
Oh my goodness.
All right, let's do this. Let's get out of here.
All right. I think
I was just like sleeping right now.
All right.
He's got to go get that wall built tomorrow. Nice and early. Rise and shine.
That's right. America.
All right. We're going to end things off here. Shout out to everyone that stayed up with us for 2.5 hours talking Knicks and all other stuff. Guys will be back tomorrow. Today,
me and Zach are doing playback tomorrow. Sign up for it. We will be talking and watching the game live. So come join us. And yeah.
All right. So make sure you guys check that out. I guess you can find a link to that on Twitter, right? There's a link to that on Twitter somewhere, Schwinn?
Yeah. We'll post a link. I think it was tweeted out already today on the Strickland account, so you can definitely find that on there. But we definitely will be tweeting out again tomorrow, and definitely just keep a lookout for it. Playback TV, and then you can find the room. It's just the Strickland, so you'll find it on there and sign up, and you can join us tomorrow, 7 p.m. for the game.
All right, so make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you guys join them for that. Nice segue to lead into the links in the description. So make sure you guys are following us on Twitter. Link will be in the description on YouTube if you're watching there. Shout out to people watching both on YouTube and Twitter. I know people are able to comment on Twitter now. Shout out to that update or whatever it is now. Leave a like, subscribe. We're on our way to 1K subs still. Still trying to reach that goal. Thank you guys for all your support, and we will catch you guys later on today. Peace.